won't play the DLC stages. What the fuck is up with these people? It's so lame. Okay, guys, I'm back. It was Jim. Everybody like done. The results of the race is over. Hold on, I'm gonna come back right now. But like, no. Yeah, it's all DLC stages. That's like super fucking lame. So we should have battle mode. Man. Okay. So now we're gonna swap on over back to hold up, there's no like well man, I'm getting chills because of like how cool it feels in my room. Like actually, what temperature is it? 58 degrees in a fucking summer day. Holy shit. Well, it's not even summer, it's like spring still, but like still that's crazy. By now it's like 70 and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm dying, right? You know how hot it is? Maybe I am exaggerating a tad bit, but it is usually around 63. 5 degrees and I'm already fucking freezing. It's crazy. What? See, I fucking hate this so fucking much sometimes. Alright, so we're gonna continue off of yesterday's video. Yeah, that's it. So let's turn you off. And I'm gonna be eating pizza, like in a weird way, where you guys are gonna see me turn around and grab and eat, right? And also, I may end up folding clothes in a moment, but I'll still be like hearing and reacting and watching probably. So yeah, let's get this started, right? Let me change the thing first. Call it actually going until 3 a.m. for the scary stream part 3. There we go.
The YouTube channel Paranormal.
So this is Shadow Man, right? He's some
uploaded
YouTuber.
The following video
It's like
after
his
they
video.
stayed overnight in a cabin out in the countryside.
See, I'm watching his video after all.
What they caught on camera would surprise even
Heist?
the skeptics.
Is that low for you all?
A little bit. It wasn't as like.
Hello, hello,
It
hello.
wasn't as good of a sleep as I thought it was gonna be.
Okay. I don't know if that's low. I can barely hear him too.
What's that?
So if the audio is low, I would like to know. Fuck that. The Paranormies.
Oh my god.
Like, cause like the YouTube audio is already on max. Actually, it could be the.
reflection of somebody standing up here.
Hold up. What is that called? Fuck.
Oh my
Also, I didn't see that at all. So yesterday we were watching the cabin video where like there was like a kid or whatever that they saw outside. That's like staged. Because I don't believe in ghosts.
How well they slept the night before when all of a sudden
Oh,
they
yeah,
pointed
everything's
around
low.
towards the TV. What he sees in the TV reflection would be sure to give anyone nightmares for weeks. The guys quickly get up to check it out, but come up empty-handed. Also, a bucket of pallets seem to have been knocked over without any sound
There we
and
go. Now
without the
it's
guys
loud.
noticing.
Sorry about that.
It seems as if the guys over at the Paranormies YouTube channel may just have caught something ghostly on camera that morning.
Tell me if that's
Check out the
fine.
full video over on the Paranormies YouTube channel.
42. Let's get out of here.
The guys over at Project Ghost and Visually Creeped TV investigated the Heart Bar
There
and
we go.
Grill in Woodruff,
Okay, so I
Wisconsin.
gotta see how I'm
While
talking.
performing
Okay,
a
yeah,
spirit box
I'm
session
talking
at
way
the
over
bar,
them
the
probably.
guys capture something that amazed many of their viewers.
The whole point is that you all are supposed to watch along. With me, right? So yeah, there's that. It's so hot. This is Peaks that are reading. Project Ghost. So what's happening? Oh, I was gonna do. Wait, before I started this video, I was gonna do a palette cleanser, but I guess this is our palette cleanser because we're starting. So I think in like one more video, we move on to like scary story videos, and then from there we move on to like the one of like there's like a palette cleanser along there too. It's like a little different. There's like a cinema one.
The guys are midway through their investigation of the bar and grill, asking questions aloud to whoever or whatever may
If they
haunt
never
the
pointed
building.
that out, I would have never seen
When
that.
all of a sudden, they unknowingly record what can only be described as a shadow of a child
Okay.
darting by against the wall. There's no doubt that the guys caught something truly paranormal on camera that night.
I don't know
Check
about
out the original
paranormal.
video in full over on their channel, Project Ghost.
Like, okay, like, yeah, they can say that because I guess they're like a ghost hunting group. But like, because like I don't believe in
Laura's
ghosts, right?
Cooking
Obviously, my position
YouTube
is gonna be.
channel, Laura's Kitchen,
They don't
did
exist.
a live stream in March along with her son
Like I
Max,
actually,
where they
and I'm not
chatted with
masquerading as
viewers
somebody that
from around
doesn't
the
believe
world.
in
Like
ghosts.
Laura states
Or
in
you
the
don't.
description of the original
There's
video,
always, like, a
everything
logical
was going
explanation.
fine until a subscriber or live stream viewer noticed something odd in the background.
You know what? I did probably confuse her with the person I watched
So we bought the dog these buttons.
for a moment.
And
'Cause, I think,
they're programmed.
What's his name?
That
Fuck.
one says
Penguin
Penguin.
Zero. That's all I know him. He's on Twitch.
So anyways, for a month, Oscar has been walking around the house, saying to me, "Your mom."
He
your mom's
covered this
dead."
like British person.
And it really got me upset. It was getting me.
That kinda
really
looks like her.
emotional because she did
Or
pass away
Irish or
20
something.
years ago. I'm
Cooked
like,
it
"Why
and
are you doing that?" Like, you know,
her
for a
recipes were kinda
solid
like
month,
not
and then
awful,
finally he stopped getting
but
a
like
reaction.
they just look a little
So,
unpleasing, right?
We were at the back door.
They're
The
real
dog
funny.
needs to pee, and there's a button that says pee pee. by the
To me
back
like a
door.
week ago
And I'm
because
like,
I watched like a
"Oh,
similar
he
video where
was
they talked
fine.
about her
Oscar is not
and her
bothering
paranormal
all day.
experience.
This is great. I think he's fine.
And I was like,
over."
really? And I confused them.
So I said to the dog, "Hit the button. You want to go pee pee? Hit the button." So he hits the button, and it goes, "Your mom's dead."
Is this the same video earlier?
What was that? So
Maybe, I don't know.
anyways, I hear in the back by the stairs, because the stairs are in the opposite direction.
Noise critical. I gotta remember that name. Oh my god.
So yeah, that's an evil story. Evil story.
I was gonna say ghost, and
Oh
I'm
my
gonna cut to
God.
that.
Oh, Tracy saying hi. Oh. What else are we hearing here? Is my house
It's noise critical on stream. Or on Twitch.
Is my house haunted? Why? What's up, Angie?
Yeah, see?
Sorry, typing too fast to spell it right. I don't know. I sometimes I get a feeling there's something happening in my house, but I don't. Yeah.
And then they're gonna bring, cause like we watched this like yesterday. This exact video.
What did she say?
I heard something in the background earlier, but
I thought I heard something. Nothing's right. Sorry, typing too fast. That's strange.
And yeah, they played the
Cabinet
same clip.
behind you just opened and closed on its own. What? Is that what that was?
the cupcakes though. Yeah.
The f is that? What was that?
I think another thing gets thrown, right?
What the hell?
What was that? What the f was that?
The cup I can't explain other
Laura
than it
said
being
that she and
staged.
her son
The other
decided to
item
do a
could
live
totally
stream
be
because
gravity.
they weren't quite ready for bed that night. However, after this happening, I'm guessing they both probably didn't get a lot of sleep for a while. While Laura is talking to her live stream viewers, a kitchen cabinet door opens and closes on its
The
own.
door I feel is also staged.
Followed a minute or so later by one or two objects flying out of that same cabinet. Laura wrote in the description of the original video for people to leave comments as she truly didn't know what just happened. So, what do you think is going on here? Could Laura's house be haunted? Drop a comment down below. The following video was recorded by YouTube user Spoke to Like.
Direct
Filmed
minister.
near York Cathedral in 2008, this clip was initially supposed to be nothing more than a walk through
No,
town.
ya terminé.
However,
Fue mi
something
último
was
día.
caught on
Ah,
camera that
porque
gave the
tuve
filmer
que hacer mi
nightmares
examen.
for weeks.
Ya la ropa ya
Sí. Le sacó más Alberto. Yeah. Ooh, what a nice. Those are the bells. Y buenas noches, ma. Y gracias por la pizza. Sí.
A ghostly
No,
face.
that's the
was caught on
kid from the
camera
fucking.
looking out of a
What is that
window
movie
in
called?
York.
The
strange
Garage.
face looks out from a window only to duck back in after being seen. The unknown entity was caught on camera in a house next to a men's wear shop just down from York Cathedral.
I don't know. That was
Till this
like
day,
a doll.
it's unknown who or what this was. Previous viewers have one thing in common though, as they all think it's super creepy. Eric Gunner recently uploaded a video on one of his secondary YouTube channels showing himself walking through a house in the dark. What he managed to capture that night was downright terrifying.
Pero supongo que pasó como 2 horas.
Did it pass? 2 hours past.
Hola,
You said I.
hola.
Hello?
No se movió ahí.
Hold on.
Ay, cabrón.
Did you see something?
Ay. Oh, no, no, espera.
I'm like looking for the thing now. It can happen like a fucking witch or something. Okay. Cut the video, yeah. Oh my gosh, the eyes. I'm
No
just
se
kidding.
está moviendo. Esta también se estaba moviendo cuando recién
He's like,
salí.
that thing was moving when I came here or something. Yeah.
Están escuchando ruidos otra vez.
Uy, the sofa.
¿Se movió? Podría jurar que se movió el sillón. Se los juro. Ay, cabrón.
Should have said el sofa.
No, no, ya, ya.
Was there somebody in the room? Yeah, you feel
Eric
like
is
that.
plucking up the courage to walk through his or someone else's house. after
Probably
hearing some
exploring somebody
odd
else's house. I'm
noises.
just gonna know.
He walks into what looks like a living room to see something as scary as you can probably imagine.
Yeah,
What
that
appears to
is.
be the face of a woman peers out from behind a wall.
La Llorona, oh
looks
my
towards
gosh.
Eric and then moves back out of sight.
Like, am I right?
Eric, obviously frightened by this, retreats back into another room. Between this
Oh, yeah.
scary-looking figure peeking out,
And what was it to say? What was it gonna like? So yeah, we're gonna watch some stuff. The palate cleanser is this one. Then we're gonna get in deep to creepypastas. and then we're gonna finish off with the UFO sightings and whatever we have. So, the reason I didn't want to continue yesterday is because like my back, like I got like sleepy, and like I just wanted to make my back just feel good because like I came off from 5 hours of testing that day, like no, like literally my day legitimately ended at 5. By 5:10, I was already at home. At 5:10 to like 7, I was playing with my friends Smash Brothers, and then I think at 7 I started streaming, and then like for an hour or so, actually not even an hour, maybe like 30 minutes. I didn't know I was like streaming like to my fucking like not to myself, but like rather I was streaming with like the mic not working, and yeah, that was so fucking annoying. Oh my god! So that's why like I was like, nah, let me move this to tomorrow. So now that we have more time, we're gonna have more time to watch the UFO video.
And the alleged poltergeist activity that just occurred not long
And
after.
obviously, we're not
seems to
just
be a
watching ghost
recipe for a
videos.
horror movie.
It's gonna say paranormal. Fuck.
Check out the YouTube channel
Paranormal.
Full Gunner for the full video.
Yeah, see, I thought there was somebody in there. Wait, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Wait.
For the
Is that
full
like the
video.
blankets or something? Oh, that's his chair. See, I'm so blind. I need my glasses to see detail.
Uploaded by Mythio Kun TV2, this video shows a Japanese film crew travel out to the former Fukiaji Tunnel just outside of
Ooh,
Tokyo
that tunnel
back
looks
in
weird.
2011. The film crew hoped to capture something creepy on camera after hearing many scary stories. Initially, the group didn't think they caught anything while they were out there.
Is that them
However,
or is that like
upon
a
further
news group?
inspection, they discovered they might have just caught something ghostly after all.
Uh-huh.
この辺でいいですかね。写真撮ります。
Sample. Maybe it didn't make it through production.
スローで再生してみよう。
I don't see anything. Oh, the fucking pictures or the flash is gonna like show something.
見えただろうか。
Did you see it? Yeah, they do this a lot. Like, oh my gosh, you missed it. Look. Oh my god. That would be scary though. To see that. Fuck. I'd run out of there. I
What
see
looks
anybody
like the silhouette
dressed
of a figure can
in,
be
like,
seen standing
A fucking
just a few
kimono.
feet from
I'm
the
out of
road.
there.
However, at
kimono?
the time, this
Is it
wasn't
kimono?
seen.
It's kimono, right?
It wasn't until they were
Kimono?
editing did they see this creepy and unknown figure peering back at them.
Yeah.
It's thought that this group that produced the documentary all those years
Mysteriously
ago
disappeared?
may just have captured a
Oh.
real ghost on camera.
Okay, these stories
But, as
usually
always,
follow up with that. They
what do
all
you think?
disappeared. Ooh, something happened to them. So below.
Chris from the YouTube
I almost
channel
read that
Urbex
as so
Hill
below.
recorded and uploaded
I'm like,
something
what the
that everyone
fuck?
in the paranormal community loved.
So
And
below.
when I say loved, I mean it gave everyone the chills. While exploring a tunnel, Chris captured something on camera that just can't be explained.
Urbex Hill. The mist, or what is he catching? Like a person just gonna pop out of nowhere. Oh, this one, yeah, fucking. Yeah, okay. I watched this one and it's like weird, like you know what this? There was like, okay, there's this footage. I think this is the show. Lost Tapes, Thunderbird. Sewer, something sewer. There's two. There's three Skinwalker ones. Straight going. Zombies. No, it's like one of these. Megacon, the monster of Monterrey. Say Monterrey though. Episodes. Chupacabra, Bigfoot, Sea Serpent, Swamp Monster, Oklahoma Octopus, Devil Dragon, Cave Demons, Death Raptor, Megaconda, Thunderbird. This show went wild because it wasn't just paranormal stuff. It was like, like the people fucking died in the show. Like not real life, but like, you know, it was like, oh my god, we see the Hellhound. No, oh my god, dude, this is a show to react to. The Hellhound one. I think I remember it. If not, it's a different episode with the zombies. Basically, they go in a house, and like one by one, the crew ends up dying or something, and it's crazy. Actually, it is the zombie one. Hold up. Where was it? Zombie. Really, there's no zombie? What would they be called? Monster. Mothman, Deathworm. Lizard Man. Actually, it is the Lizard Man, and the show just ends there. I think. Yeah, the show is good. Vampire. Yeah, it's this one. Hold up. Buy on Prime Video. An Enigma Corporation, a private security firm, is called to investigate New Orleans boarding house owned, by a woman who was recently killed. They discover that the boarding house is teeming with zombies. Yeah, it's weird. Like, there's no plot. It's like the weirdest fucking show. There's no fucking plot at all. Like, they're all like separate things. The Thunderbird one is like two kids that get lost, and like literally every time the Thunderbird attacks, you just hear "Wah! Wah!" And then there's like lightning. Like literally. Oh my god. Should I show it on stream? No, I don't want to get my channel fucking destroyed. Fuck, I clicked on Visual Studios again. But yeah, there's one that's similar in Lost Tapes that's basically the footage of this. But like, there was like a cryptid or some weird like alien thing in the sewers that was like making the rounds on the news like a while ago.
Chris states that he traversed
That's
more
scary.
than 10 miles that day exploring the tunnel system.
Damn!
It wasn't until about halfway through did he have one of the most terrifying experiences of his life.
In
A
there?
weird and just plain creepy figure of sorts can be seen moving out from behind one of the walls of the tunnel, to quickly dart back in within a split second. Perhaps Chris caught something truly horrifying on camera that day. Something that will most likely haunt
Look,
him.
look. I'll tell you where he messes
Something
it.
truly horrifying on camera that day.
Look at that. Look at that eye. And then look at those two other eyes. Do y'all see my mouse? Look.
Perhaps
So
Chris caught
he
something
ducks
truly
in and then
horrifying on
comes
camera that
out.
day.
See that? And then another one ducks out. There's two creatures. He fucked up there if they keep on saying
Something that
one.
will most likely haunt his
We're not so
and many
perceptive.
of his viewers' dreams for weeks to come.
To not know that there's two creatures is a little like a little ignorant to say.
Now this video might not be much, however the man who recorded the short clip must have thought something of it, seeing as though he stopped his construction work to check it out. Take a close look at the window in the old church.
La ventana, oh my gosh. No, no, no music, no music, no music, no music. No, fucking. You're gonna be deaf for today. Oh my god, the ghost! Oh my god, you guys see him in the window. Come on, fucking say something.
The sound of it, it appears that the man
Nice.
stopped just long enough to record the short video of what he may have thought was a ghost in the window of the church.
Oh my gosh, it's
However,
a
judging by the
phantasma.
height of the window, it might suggest that this isn't just a regular person walking or moving by. But I guess you never know. The original uploader, HookRock1065, nor their viewers know what they're looking at here. The white shadowy movement was at least cause for concern for a few viewers. But what do you
Yeah.
think's happening here?
I don't know. I feel like there could be somebody behind there for sure, but like,
This last
I don't think it's a
creepy video
ghost.
comes from a TV show that aired in 1996 called Haunting Australia. The small
Yeah.
segment came from a longer episode which focused on stories about
Pretty sure
the
they have this show on
paranormal,
Amazon
aliens,
Prime.
and other unexplained events. Although this upcoming story is quite slow to get going, what
Mhm.
eventually is captured on camera shocked many, even the producers of the show and many viewers that saw it all those years ago.
Okay.
The Rashid family is
Oh 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 we it is showing the show. I didn't think they were gonna show the show. Where's my fucking camera? Welcome to racing stuff. Bum bum bum. There we go. You can't get me anymore. Wait, wrong. Okay, I'm gonna be like this. I pledge allegiance to the flag. I'm saying, isn't it like this?
Good fortune.
Oh,
Propagating so
whoa,
rapidly that its
whoa,
members
whoa! Y'all
are
don't
in
see
every
anything.
state.
Whoa,
Life
whoa.
Magazine, Look magazine, and many other journals
Okay,
have,
yeah.
over the years,
What
reported
happens?
on
What
how
happens?
the
Come on,
Rashids
hurry
grew
up.
in number to 3,500. and
Cause like
produced
this,
their
I
own
can get
annual
fucking.
newspaper
Hey,
each
hold up.
month.
Okay, let me mute it then. Instead of goofing around, and let's have the captions. He's like most of that passed by, so now I can like watch the remainder probably, hopefully. Oops, let's do that. Born in beautiful extraordinary, a woman named Shada was mother and was a tiny woman that she weighed 85 pounds and she was about 5 feet tall, but she had the aggressiveness and intelligence. She couldn't read and write a word of English, but she had an adding machine in her head and she learned to speak Spanish, French, Arabic, and English. She educated herself. She didn't solve our problems for us, but what she did was how show us how to cope with it, and that's where she came through. The relationship between Philip and his mother is at a core of an epic saga of love, remorse, and redemption. Interesting. Before reaching its final wondrous finale, it would take his life from wealth and flamboyance down into the deepest pits of depression. Okay. I felt like I didn't see the trees, I didn't see the leaves on the trees, I didn't see the birds, I didn't see the flowers. I came to in another world. I felt lost. I felt hated. Whatever else he's saying, I can't read. If I had my glasses, I would have been able to. The earliest childhood, Philip Rashid admired Rashida and Nana Newbound. He believed that blah 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 blah. She rich man considered priesthood in the town where he settled in Fairfield, California. He was a respected oral surgeon, but also became a sort of master of ceremonies for every social charity and cultural event. involving himself with. I was a show off, and I wanted to get the stage and have everybody give me a standing ovation, which I deserved. I was happy and a go-lucky person, and then came to do something, change the course of his life forever. All of a sudden, my younger sister were there, and the three of us, myself, and she says, "I don't even know." Oh, we could just read that. Struggling for air, and I dived right in, and we head back. What are they getting? Why are they playing this whole ass episode, dude? Holy shit! Like, what the fuck? Oof. The shadow's still good. You just need to get to the point. Holy hell.
Heart massage.
He said, I think maybe you don't feel bad because you didn't want to hurt
your mother. And then giving the percussion, I was a little easy about it. And I really I could just breathe on her like that.
From that day, Philip Rashid would enter a world of bleak remorse. He would lose his flamboyance. Possessions
no longer had their appeal. His practice lost its joy. I was good for nothing. I burned out. All day long, I'd see patients and I'd work in my mind. It's funny. I can save this patient, and I couldn't do that for her. It would always come back to me, those bad years. Philip would sometimes look for signs, some signal from somewhere that would say his mother forgave him. I drive down the hallway. Imagine I see the telephone pole look like a cross, and there's a vision now, what she's telling me, that then I could teleport, and wasn't in deepening depression. Philip Rashid's health would begin to deteriorate. One of his visits to this doctor would again be the epic turning point of his life. It happened 4 years ago. I was having some trouble in breathing, and the doctor felt I should have a complete chest x-ray of the lung. As he sat me in the reception area waiting the results, Philip heard a small commotion among the nurses in the examining room. The nurse that took the x-ray and the technician where I was waiting in the reception room, and she's, my god, look at this, and I thought, my god, well, must be cancer. Then, because of the way they're reacting, and the doctors ran in, the nurses, technicians, and they're looking, I thought, blah blah blah. You know what? Look at this. There on the light board was a side x-ray of my chest, and as he got closer, Philip Rashid's heart began to pound. First thing I looked at, I was looking for the tumor. Is that what he's gonna say? The pathology? Because I know the cells, and I started looking around at it because I didn't think to look at the end there because there was the bulk material was, and I was trying to see, well, okay.
cancer. And they had said there's something strange about this, but they didn't tell me where it was.
So what exactly is strange?
Into the outer portion, and I saw, and I looked, and I said, well, gee, here's something, and my God, that's my mother. That's her picture. That's her.
No, it's not. Oh my god. What? Now you see, this is why, as technology evolves, so, listen, if I was looking at 480 screens, 480p screens, I would 100% guarantee say, no doubt, this is her mother, right? I'd be ignorant and say that. But because like nowadays, technology is so much better and everything's in higher resolution, that just looks like a low resolution x-ray. Because like x-rays don't need to be in a higher resolution to tell you that you have something wrong with your chest or have nothing wrong with you at all. Yeah. It's her picture. So when you overlay it like that, you do have a case of like, what the fuck, right? Because like, see, this is the picture they showed earlier on. It's not even like scaled or morphed or like fitted to such a way that it would like be a stretch. It just does kind of look like that. I just like personally, I just chalk this up to like pure coincidence. Pure coincidence. Mm-hmm. Fuck, keep it opening up, right? Fucking Visual Studios.
I stopped the car.
Mhm.
I drive.
Well, that's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, well, that's it. This he definitely does grab like from different sources, but some of the sources are the same from like the other like Ghost YouTubers, right? Like, I guess it just has to be like that. I'm not saying, I'm not blaming it. I'm not like saying like he gets videos from like other people, like chills and stuff like that. Because there's just so much overlap. Because like I feel like it's not like every day that these ghost videos come out or are shown, and like above that, it's not. It's like you can say it's oversaturated to some extent, but like it's not. It's like only like 4 people fucking doing this at this point. Because like these are the only people I know. Besides Sir Chilled and other people that just cover scary stories, like that do like ghost stories or rather ghost videos and stuff like that. But he had a nice variance versus like I got this from TikTok, right? Yeah, this is top time. Subscribe, like 6 scary videos that'll knock my socks off.
I'm Callan and this is Slap Tam. Today we're looking at some mysterious videos that are leaving viewers baffled.
What the fuck?
So
That's
hit
not
that
his
subscribe
voice,
button
is
and
it?
Get ready for more creepy content.
It's gonna sound fucking weird. Hold up.
I've never. There is, however, plenty of credible evidence.
Why does it sound so much different? Hold up. Oops, I fucking got rid of the video.
Tam. Today we're looking at some mysterious
Maybe his audio
videos
got
that are
better
leaving
because it's
viewers
been a while since I
baffled.
watched him.
So hit that subscribe
Let's
button
go.
and get ready for more creepy content.
Yeah, scary, spooky, exactly. Welcome back, Primo SSB. Gosh, it's been a while since you've been here. Yeah, we're watching Slap Tam.
To see on your home security camera.
So yeah, there's gonna be like a bunch of like random videos.
However, in this video from Redditor Devon L.
Do you have any scary videos?
We see something that's
that you know of?
potentially far more unnerving. The clip shows the Redditor's friend's driveway
Oh my gosh, this
late
one.
at night. It's dark, but if you look closely, you can see something moving in
Yeah.
the shadows. Take a look.
What is that? Oh my gosh, it's a ghost. I'm just kidding. I want to take the piss out of this video. Yeah, I tried to
It
be
appears
here
have the size
tomorrow,
and shape of a person, but they look
but
as
I
though they're
had
made
the most
entirely
awful
of
internet
shadow.
last night. Let me look
At
for one.
first,
Yeah,
you might
yeah.
think
Thank you,
this
thank you,
is
thank
simply
you.
a trick of the light.
Then we'll
but
watch
just
it,
after
right?
The shadow moves across the driveway. The motion sensing light flickers
Fuck.
on, indicating that there is indeed something there. The mysterious.
You know, there's like been times actually where like the mist actually triggered the motion detection because it was mist, and like it's like it thinks it's like somebody moving, but it's actually just a bunch of like they're not really particles, but it's like a bunch of molecules. Yeah, I can't say that word. Molecules moving.
Mysterious figure seems to disappear into the garage.
But like I
The
can't
door
explain
to
this
the
as
garage
mist
looks
because it
closed.
doesn't like it's too dark to be mist.
Many viewers believe
So
that
I
this
think it's like
video has
Photoshop.
captured a shadow person.
Oh,
shadow
shadow
people are said
people.
to lurk in the darkness, just dark shapes.
They
visible out
always
the
have to
corner of
explain
one's
shadow
eye.
people, dude.
Some believe that they're harmless, while others
Shadow people are said to be the most violent creatures of the afterlife. They come and feed off your soul. At least that's what the internet says. According to, you know what I mean? They always explain it like that. It's never like, this could be a shadow person, and then it's just there.
Others think they're harbingers of doom. There are
He's
many
like, you know,
theories about what shadow people really are. Some think
Just
they're
like,
demons,
dude.
aliens, or even beings
Yeah.
from another dimension.
I'm telling you. I'm gonna do like a
Several
shadow
viewers
person
remain
fucking.
skeptical about
Yeah, I'm
this
gonna do
video
shadow
footage,
people
however.
for
They
fucking
think
Halloween.
the clip might simply show an ordinary person obscured by the shadows, perhaps a nighttime jogger, or even a prowler.
I should
So
check
what do you think
Slack.
this mysterious video shows? Paranormal shadow person, or just a human? Let me know in the comment section down below.
It's like on my Slack. I need to see if I got like a message. Because if I did, oops. Oh wait, I'm asleep.
Derelict buildings seem like the perfect place for a haunting. In this footage from the YouTube channel Hauntex
yes.
TV, we see them explore the old Lord Lion building in Hull,
Oh,
UK.
Spots.
The property was once used
nice,
by the
nice,
local
nice. I
fishing
watched those
industry,
anymore.
providing many jobs
Or
to the
open them
town's
up, rather.
residents. However, the company that used the building
There are the
ceased
scariest
operations
ones
and the
I've seen
property
lately.
was
Great.
abandoned in the mid-1970s. Now it's become an attraction for those interested in its history, but could it also be home to the paranormal?
Hello? Yep.
After some time exploring the dark, dirty halls, the team asks if there's any spirits who would like to make contact with them.
Right, if there's any spirits here this evening who'd like to join us here at Lord Line.
There isn't an immediate answer. However, a few minutes later, they hear a mysterious sound.
What is that?
They search for the source of the noise.
Where did you hear it? Behind you or here? Hello?
As they do, one of the team members thinks he sees a shadowy figure running down.
Sorry
the
for
hallway.
seeing that. Let me open up your videos.
Don't please run too fast.
I get like docs. Did you fucking steal my IB? Imagine. No, but like, I trust you because like I know you IRL.
Down that corridor. Yes.
This video was
No
brought
one
to you
gets
by
a good look at it,
NordVPN.
but
Nice.
later,
Oh shit.
as they
For an
discuss
Debunk
the
file?
building, the figure seems
Terrifying
to
YouTube
reappear.
family.
Take a look.
Could you
Fuck.
knock again?
Well, you know what comes to mind?
Knock
The fucking
downstairs,
Ace
then
family.
we will go downstairs.
When I hear like YouTube family.
It can be hard to see at first, but here it is again.
Holy shit, they're so long.
Up and
But okay, the first one is.
down.
But yeah, we'll watch that one for sure. We'll watch both. They don't have any fucking gore, right? Or anything like. There's the crime scene, right? Or anything like that.
So what's going on in this old abandoned building? Some viewers suggested it could be the
Because like
spirit of
I'm
a
like a
former
little
worker
like
still
scared to show
haunts
that
its
off.
walls.
Because like, there's like
Unfortunately,
weird
though,
like
until more
rules
info
around
comes to
that
hand, this strange
on
sighting
Twitch.
will have to remain a mystery.
So what exactly did he see? Yeah, no, the Ace family is, dude. Oh my god, there was so much cheating and so much drama, dude. But like I said earlier, like today, in the gar. Okay, thank you.
To spend an afternoon.
It's just
However,
like a
in
guy
this video
talking, right?
uploaded to Reddit by Haunted Luca, it shows it can also be a rather unusual
Censored surgery?
experience. As the
Uh,
video begins, we see the Redditors
maybe I'll
wives
hop in.
standing on a
Like,
busy
I'll
trail.
still play most of the video, but like around there, I'll have to hop around it, right? It's fine though. It's fine. It's fine. It's like
Suddenly, the Redditor
if
asks,
it is
"Did
surgery,
just get you?" As something
I
simply
hate
asked
looking at
by
blood.
the woman.
Did I just get you? You sure? Yeah.
At
What's
first,
happening?
the camera doesn't seem to show anything unusual.
Yeah, like
However, as it turns back towards the trail, a strange shape can be seen.
in the family one, huh?
Whatever it is, it moves so quickly that if
I
you
don't even
blink, you'll
see.
likely miss it.
Yeah,
But
what the
something
fuck?
seems to be definitely there. The shape has been described as resembling a torso with long arms hovering. several
Motherfucker,
feet
that's
above
just
the
the
ground.
trees.
Looks like a tall person whose lower body has disappeared.
That fucking rectangle's a fucking person.
Viewers have suggested that based on its size and color, it could be the ghost of a kangaroo. Others think that the camera is simply making the tree branches in the background appear distorted.
Oh
Strangely, this
my
footage was
God.
uploaded by the same Redditor we featured in another video a short while ago. They're the owner of Luca,
Oh
a
my
doll that is
God.
thought to be possessed.
What are these stretches?
So could it be possible that this poster has a knack for attracting mysterious paranormal energies?
What the
knowing-
fuck? This is what he basically did. Oh shit, what happened? My mouse is gone. Dude, OBS has glitched the fuck out. Oh my god, yeah, it is OBS. Fuck, I should downgrade OBS then. Oh, is this basically is ideal, not ideology. This line of reasoning. My restroom smells because right next to me is actually the cursed family that died. They laid a curse across the whole foundation of this place, an apartment complex. And right across the street is a doll that actually is said to give smells in restrooms. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what? And then just to add like an extra one, just like it is said that one of the dogs that the owner that one of my neighbors used to own passed away, but right before they passed away they took a shit in my restroom, and that's why it smells like. That's their line of reasoning, I swear. Fuck, do you all see my mouse?
What you think about this?
Okay, there we
in the
go, it's
comments
back.
section down below.
Yeah, it's like a weird thing. I don't know. It could be like the Razer Cortex program soon. Ooh, back.
During a visit to Calico Ghost Town in Southern California,
Calico?
it seems that Redditor, a jello bean, might have captured evidence that proves that this place really is haunted.
I took the piss
Calico
out of
was
it right
founded
there.
during the silver rush of the 1880s.
It's like I was
to
like
serve
making
people
fun of
flooding
him
the area who were
for a
hoping
moment.
to strike it rich. When the mining dried up, the population left, but the town has since been restored to its silver rush appearance and now serves as a tourist attraction.
Cool.
Visitors
Is this the clown one?
spotting numerous paranormal
No, this
activities
isn't the
around
clown
town,
motel, right?
including Lucy Lane, the owner
This
of the
is a
old
different
general
one.
store, former teachers and students in the old schoolhouse.
That's
and
rad.
Tumbleweed
I would
Harris,
want to
the
visit there.
town's last marshal. This live photo was captured by the poster during a ghost tour. It features Lil's Saloon, one of the few original buildings still standing in the town.
Cool, but there's somebody like
There
across
appears to
there?
be a shadowy figure moving inside the building.
It could just be somebody. Come on.
It can be seen as a dark silhouette against the light from a rear window.
But that could be like anybody.
The following day, the Redditor spoke to the bartender, who was a little freaked out by the picture. She confirmed that she closed up before the tour began, and that no one else would have been in the building at the time. Despite this, some Redditors think that the figure is likely not anything supernatural.
Yeah, it's
They
probably
suggest
somebody.
it might simply be the shadow of someone on the
Yeah.
other side of the saloon that's casting through the building's
Yeah, at least
window.
that's rational.
While this is certainly possible, one can't help but wonder if this mysterious figure might actually be the spirit of someone who's thought to haunt this old.
Hold up, let me just point out. These are the users in chat according to my Twitch, and there's only one viewer watching me, and that's my mod, right? 0AX2, Alien Conglomeration, Casino, no thanks, Danking Around, and then just sound alerts. Sound alerts is normal. But like, what names are these? What bots are these? Like, what the hell? Dude. It's fucking crazy. Just wanted to point that out because that's a little funny. Alien Conglomeration, because they have like an alien video that's like 2 hours long.
Advertising 1674.
Problematic
It appears to be an excerpt of
poltergeist.
security footage captured in a warehouse. We can see many crates and boxes arranged in rows filled with various
Didn't we watch this one just now?
Take a look at what happens next.
Okay.
Suddenly, two of the crates on the right-hand side
It's just
seem to be wrenched
gravity.
to the floor by some sort of unseen force.
You know, gravity causes acceleration downwards, right? So just because something seems like it's not about to fall down, so like for example, just because something's not about to fall down doesn't mean the moment like something just tilts a little bit, it isn't gonna gain acceleration to just hop off, right? So with that being said, the Earth is curved. It isn't perfectly flat. So certain like curvature and movements from the Earth, and because like there's always like earthquakes going on underneath, right? So like there's always motion to like just like the ground, right, in general. It isn't a surprise that something like this can happen, especially to such a light thing, because these are just like plastic crates, and from like my experience with plastic crates, they're really easy to move.
Then an
They're a
employee
little
enters the
bulky.
frame. Unaware of what's happened, he's almost
yeah.
hit by the tallest stack of crates as they come tumbling down.
But like, yeah, they're easy to fucking fall
Some
down.
Redditors think that a gust of wind might have
push.
caused the crates to
And yeah,
fall.
that too.
However, others have pointed out that you can see the chain moving that's hanging from the ceiling. Surely a gust of wind strong enough to topple the crates would make the chain move more than this.
No. It just could be like easily
Also, the
wind,
first two crates
and also because like
don't
the crate stack is way too tall too. Because like here's the thing, what like the taller the thing is, the less resistant it is to like wind. I'm just kidding. No, that doesn't make sense. Dude, this is my logic. This is me trying to like.
So was it really the wind that
not
caused the
test my
crates to
logic,
topple? Could it
but
have
just
been
like
the
make it
work
better,
of
I
a
guess.
sneaky
No,
poltergeist? One
see,
that might have actually been
hold
trying
up,
to
let
knock
me
the
explain
crate.
it. Look at the way it tilts.
It looks like something actually grabs them.
Okay, see right there? It must have been pushed. Some sort of like force must have been applied
Was
there.
it really the wind that caused the crates to topple? Could it have been the work of a sneaky poltergeist?
No, it's not a
One that might have
poltergeist.
actually been trying to knock the crates onto the clueless employee as he passed
No.
by.
If I was the employee, I would have sued for more money. I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
Before we take a look at some freaky footage of what many are calling a genuine Yeti sighting.
Okay.
Remember to hit that subscribe button, then tickle that little bell icon there and turn on
Oh
all
my gosh,
channel
tickle the bell
notifications.
icon.
That
I've
way you'll
never
be
heard
in
it
the
that
loop
way.
every time we drop our scary and mysterious videos.
I just start playing.
There's no telling what could happen when you travel
I'm just
alone in the
like-
wilderness. In this footage from YouTuber Travazar, things definitely don't seem to go as planned. At the start of the video, we see the YouTuber traversing an icy
Was that?
tundra somewhere in Russia.
Oh, fuck him. That's the video. I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Approaches an old military vehicle known as a Kung. Wisely, he decides to take shelter in the vehicle for the night.
Nice.
However, it seems that there might be more than the bit of coal that he needs to be fearful of.
The
Soon,
Yeti?
He hears strange noises coming from the darkness.
Gonna be like, "Rawr, rawr," or something like that. Watch.
Using night vision, he manages to capture some footage of some sort of mysterious creature watching from the trees. Take a look
I'd
at
say
what
that's a
captured.
person. But then again, I don't know.
The creature's eyes glow brightly. in
Yeah,
the
that's the
dim
only
light
thing
of
that's like a
camera.
little weird.
When it
It's like a
moves,
human's
it
eyes
does so
wouldn't.
using
They
its
do that,
arms,
but
much
like
like an ape or a
they look a
monkey.
little big to me personally.
Based on the creature's appearance, it's been suggested
No,
that this
well-
could be a Yeti, the Asian.
Hold on, where's the ice? Like I guess like right there, it's like. Now they look human. I don't know.
The creature's eyes glow brightly in the dim light of the camera. When it moves, it does so using its arms, much like an ape or a monkey.
Okay. I don't know. I don't see that.
Appearance, it's been suggested.
It's like they're basing all these. You know what this feels like? Back when Smash Bros. Ultimate was coming out, when people were like, "Oh my gosh, let's guess Mario's movement off like 2 seconds of footage, dude." Oh my god. This is what this guy's doing, but for a fucking like Yeti sighting. He's like, look at him using his arms. Clearly, it's a Yeti.
The Yeti is usually described as a large bipedal creature with brown, grey, or white
Dude.
hair. Some legends depict the Yeti
Oh my
with
God.
terrifying sharp teeth.
What the fuck?
These creatures have
That's a
supposedly been
rad
sighted in China,
picture.
Bhutan,
No,
India,
I'm saying rad.
Nepal,
What the
and
fuck?
yes, even Russia.
What year is this?
Despite the remarkable footage, some viewers remain unconvinced that it is indeed a Yeti.
I don't think it
they
is.
believe the video might be staged using
It
a
could be
costume
staged, but
wearing
like I don't think it's
accomplice.
staged. Like it could be like a random person.
So what do you think? Is this really a genuine Yeti sighting? Or is it perhaps
Wait,
some
then what's
other
that?
creature
Did it
yet
not
to be
show up that
classified
piece of
by
footage?
modern science? Or is it all just a hoax? Take
A
another
hoax.
look and judge for yourself.
It looks weird.
Now, if you want to see some more mysterious videos, then
Right,
check
like
out
it
that
was
link
like
on the
I don't
top
know, just
there.
like
Otherwise, we have a spooky playlist right there that
Like,
will keep
you
you
know-
entertained well into the.
I don't think like an animal too would just stick out in the snow like that. Even if it was a Yeti covered in hair, like I think it would just freeze overnight. Like that's like weird. So it has to be staged. So look, we're gonna watch my moderator's videos, the ones he sent over. We'll start with the long one. Let's open it up. Wow, we're gonna see the video shrink. Right now, let me carry over the other one. We're gonna watch the next one, and then from there we'll go to like the story videos and kind of chill out. Are you wait? I'm out of my nose. And so we're gonna watch this 43-minute long video. So let's start it. So this is known as the killer who loved jazz. Yeah, let me subscribe. Very interesting. Very techno. Just kidding. No, it's very retro-esque.
Hi, and welcome to Debunk File. My name is Sepp, and today we're going to be talking about the Axeman
Dang,
of New
that's so
Orleans, one of the most mysterious serial killers in American history.
Lower it down for me. And like he's probably not like loud for others.
New Orleans, a city
Or
with a
for
dozen
those watching
names
right
and
now.
many more identities. Since its founding in 1718, it's been a place unlike anywhere else on the continent. If you were to walk the streets today, you would see a vibrant town full of life and culture. On the
Yeah.
surface, it seems like a laid-back, happy
One of the
place
places
with
I want to
no
go to
care
is
in the
New
world.
Orleans because I've heard like they're like
Below
really
that
friendly
surface,
there.
and you will find a history that is anything but laid back or happy. Tales of slavery,
Yeah,
insurrection,
yeah.
racial strife, and more murder
lot of
than
that.
one can describe.
It was random fun. Yeah, I can tell. This video has like a lot.
Mysticism. In between the pleasant sound of jazz
holy
and
hell.
celebration, you'll
Like,
hear talks of
for example, when do ghost videos do this? Come on. Obviously, this isn't good a ghost video, but what I'm saying is like the different type of content creators out there all have like their own like different style, and this guy seems fun. Just like the font
voodoo
he's
magic,
using is
vampires,
nice.
witches,
All the
pirates,
pictures
serial
and stuff.
killers. Many of these stories are nonsense, silly tales created to scare tourists. But some
Tourists?
legends are real.
I'm just kidding.
One of these legends was about a reaper of souls called the Axeman.
Uh-oh.
Throughout the 1910s, the Axeman stalked the streets of the Crescent City. He broke into people's houses, violently attacking his victims.
He sounds
with
like
an
Jack the
axe,
Ripper, but
only
for
to
New
disappear
Orleans.
into the night. At his height, he wrote a letter where he demanded the entire city
Whoa.
play jazz music.
Let me read
or
that. Let me
face
read
his
that out.
wrath.
I like that guy's videos. His editing is pretty enjoyable. Yeah, it's so smooth and professional. Never catch him. They have never caught me, and they will never. They have never seen me, for I am invisible. I am not a human being, but a spirit and a demon from the hottest hell. I am what you Orleans and your foolish police call the Axeman. The letter said the Axeman could. The letter said the Axeman could be much worse. The letter said the Axeman could be much worse. Oh my god, I need my glasses. Could be much worse. Oh my god, could be much worse if you wanted to. And then added, now to be exact, at 12:15 Earthly time on next Thursday night, I am going to pass over New Orleans. I am very fond of jazz music, and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose home a jazz band is in full swing. It's
Not
gonna be
long
like
after
everybody
he walked
fucking
off
does like a
into the foggy
jazz
mists
party
of
or
history,
something
never
just to
to be
live.
seen again, or so the legend goes.
Okay.
Now here on Debunk File, we have
Interesting.
covered a select few murder mysteries in the past, with at least one more on its way. But these were all the big mysteries that everybody knows about.
Yeah.
What makes the Axeman different is the fact that he is relatively obscure in the grand scheme of things. However, despite that, his tale is just as fascinating as
That
all the
depiction
others
looks
we've
so
covered.
nice. It looks like something like out of like a
Like most
not a
Legends of the
cartoon,
Sea and like all the other
but like maybe
murder
like a
mysteries we've
comic
covered,
book.
His story
almost.
has been mangled by the passage of time. The first significant work written about him, Robert Tallant's 1952 book,
Ready to Hang?
mixed truth with lies. Real victims with
Robert
imaginary
Tallant?
people. Tour guides and ghost stories have only further
Dang.
eroded the facts. Nowadays, the Axeman shares a lot in common with fellow Big Easy serial killer Madame Delphine LaLaurie, once a detestable human, now corrupted into a caricature of horror. We aim to change that. We will tell the story of the Axeman of New Orleans as it truly happened. Before we
Mrs.
begin, we must give a
Schneider
quick
asks
special thanks
victim
to
to be
Professor
taken to her
Miriam
home.
Davis, whose book, The Axeman of New Orleans, The True Story, is essentially the only serious attempt to dig up the truth regarding these murders.
Okay.
Without Davis's book, we would have had nothing but the words of BuzzFeed and hack frauds. We thank her for her
Really? The Axeman of New Orleans. Let's go on Wikipedia and fucking get all this delicious information. I'm just kidding. No. It's probably like you said, littered with like it's a ghost or something, right? Like information like
Now
that.
it's time to return to a time barely within living memory.
No, you'd need like school records or something like that of that time. Not school records. What do you call it? Like just like research or something done on that.
The date is
mystery.
August 13th, 1910.
But like, there's like
William
nothing
Howard
on it
Taft was
probably.
president,
If you want to
Mark
get
Twain
through
had
this
died
quicker,
back
you
in
can
April,
possibly
and
watch at
Americans from
1.25
coast to coast
speed.
were entertained by
I
a new
often
song
do.
called
Nah, we're
Come
watching this at
Josephine,
1
My
speed.
Flying Machine.
No, but like actually though, like yeah, at 1 speed we're watching this just because like
That
it's just
night,
my style.
corner grocery
I just
store
like it.
owners Harriet Crudy and her husband
I like
August
the
were
crude
fast
speed,
asleep.
right? Like the normal
The
one.
Crudys had 3 children and were hardly
Is
wealthy,
that
but
fucking
they
Mark
usually got by
Zuckerberg?
without incident
Which I think
until that night. Sometime around 3 in the morning, Harriet awoke to the sight of a shadowy figure standing over her
Oh
bed.
my gosh, it's a ghost!
He
I'm
held a
just
bloody
kidding.
cleaver and was demanding
Jesus.
money. Give me money, or I'll do to you what I just did to your husband. August was lying on the foot of the bed, bleeding profusely.
Yikes.
Harriet shrieked, but
I'd
Daisy
give him my
asked,
money.
giving the man $8. He demanded more money, but was
Oh
told
no,
how
but that's a
wrong he
lot
was.
back then. That's like
He then
800
walked out of the
or
bedroom,
8,000. I don't know.
grabbed a pet
It's a lot.
mockingbird, still in its cage, and left the store. He then threw his cleaver into the yard, opened the bird cage, and flung the scared bird into the grass. The man then smoked a cigarette, sat for a few minutes, put on his shoes, and walked out into the night.
Oh my gosh.
These facts were confirmed by the police later the following day. August was rushed to
I read
Charity
that as
Hospital,
Urgler,
where
it is
despite
just
having
burglar.
suffered a
Oh my
blow
gosh.
to the head and chest, was expected to survive. Police were soon at the house and noticed a few odd details. The intruder had used a railroad shoe pin to pry open the door, and the cleaver had been stolen recently. August couldn't remember anything, likely having been struck while sleeping.
Yeah.
Harriet, however, could remember a lot. She described the attacker as being 36 years old, 5'6", clean-shaven, rough voice, working man's attire, and a black
36 years old for like when? 18. Wait, Axeman. What was this legend? Because I'm gonna look at the 1911. 36 years old. Holy shit, this guy's old. It must be like.
The man in
Because
charge
back
of the
then, people
investigation was
they
Chief of
dropped
Detectives Jim Reynolds,
dead
a
by like
nearly
the age of like
20-year
30.
veteran of police work who had seen quite a lot of
Or like
horrible
way
crimes.
before that, like
But
20 or
even
something.
he was quite stumped by the entire incident.
Holy heck! I mean,
Why
there
did
were
he not search the
hospitals, but
whole
like
store if he wanted
the
money?
blood transfusions they
Why
would
spare a
give you were
witness?
like the
Why did
worst.
he take such a
Get
long
disease.
time near the scene of the crime? Police suspected a drug abuser or crazy person. They soon arrested a local morphine and cocaine addict named John Flannery. At first, it looked like he was the intruder, until September 20th.
By the way, something I want to mention. Back then, according to like many sources, people didn't give a fuck about your addictions and stuff. So like, they would like literally like from what I've heard and like read about too, it's like if you were like a coke addict, they didn't even have like a way to describe you as a coke addict. They just like it's just like, oh yeah, him, he does cocaine or whatever the fuck the drug was called back then.
At 1:45 a.m.,
He does
the home of
Coca-Cola.
the grocery store owners, Joseph
Like,
and
straight up.
Franchetta Rossetto,
And it was only until the war on drugs when people started paying attention to like criminals do drugs. Oh my gosh.
face and neck. He then went over to
And
Joseph
well,
and
leading
hit
up to
him
the war on
twice,
drugs.
once across the nose and once in the eye. Despite the pain, Joseph managed to roll out of bed.
So
and
that's it.
grab
Like
a
some people were
revolver and
like,
fire
"Who was
2
the
shots.
drug person that did that?" You know,
The man was
stuff like that.
already gone.
Person that does drugs.
The 2 victims were rushed. to
Yeah, and
treatment
exactly. It was used for medication
Conchetta
too,
wasn't
which is like
expected to live,
insane.
But in the end, miraculously managed to survive. Joseph was permanently disfigured and blinded, and his injuries eventually
Jesus.
contributed to his death in 1912.
That sucks.
As you can probably see, the crime was eerily similar. A stolen butcher's tool, the house broken into without anyone
And by the way,
noticing.
a description of saying like the guy looked like he was age 36 is very is a great description for back then. Because like nowadays you say like the guy was 36, we're gonna be like, okay, there's like billions of people out there that are 36. But back then, there were only like a set amount of people that were like probably the age of 36, you know?
The attacker didn't wear shoes, and the victims were Italian grocers.
Jesus.
This time, nothing was stolen.
Italiophobia?
It was clearly the same person as before, and not the antics of a drug addict. Flannery was eventually let go after a long year in jail due to law enforcement dragging its feet.
Axeman again. Axeman's victims. Axeman.
While police
Next.
continued
Okay.
to be confused, local papers immediately began drawing comparisons. Headlines such as Jack the Axeman and the New Orleans
Jack the
Own
Ripper.
were soon being distributed near and far.
I said that earlier.
He soon earned a nickname, the Cleaver.
The Cleaver?
Perhaps the killer liked the attention.
That's such a
or felt
sick
it made
ass
his attacks
name.
harder. In actuality, murder in the area
Imagine
was
being like,
surprisingly rare.
well, I don't know
Only
his name
52
because like they
were
haven't
reported
mentioned
in
it yet.
New Orleans that year, and
But
most of
what was
them
I gonna
were
say?
easily solved.
Imagine being known
A lot
as
of
the
them went along
Cleaver.
lines of,
and,
say,
like
drunken
that's
bar
how you
fight
reference
or
that for
an
like the
angry
rest of
spouse.
time.
A stranger breaking into homes with a weapon was not ordinary at all. Regardless of why, the Cleaver wouldn't strike again until June 27th, 1911.
Nice.
And this time, the attack would be fatal. Sometime in the middle of the night, somebody broke into the home of grocery store owners Joseph
This
and
place
Mary
looks so
Davy.
old.
Mary had been rudely awakened by a stranger asking, "Where's your money?" Mary was too scared to
Like
reply,
Batman.
so she froze
Sounds
up.
like Batman.
The man then grabbed a mug and hit her in the head. When she got up hours later, she saw her husband was severely wounded. Bits of skull and brain were all over the bed.
Ew.
The assailant had struck him so hard that the top part of the double mattress had collapsed. Help eventually
Jesus.
arrived around 5:30 in the morning in the form of an early customer to the store. Joseph Davy was taken to Charity
That is
Hospital,
so-
where the doctors
that was a
proclaimed
grotesque
he had
description.
no chance of survival. His brain was seeping out of his head. Despite this, he held on for a
Yikes.
while. His newlywed wife of 5 months was pregnant, and he so badly wanted to see that child. But
That's
30
super
hours
sad.
later, it was announced that he
Shit, instead of saying super sad, I should use like
and
a
it
more
was the same
descriptive word.
method as before.
But oh my god,
The killer
that's
had used a railroad
horrible
shoe pin
and
to pry
detriment.
open a window. The weapon used was never found.
Who
Although
used a
police
railroad shoe
guessed it was a
pin?
butcher's cleaver.
Police guessed
When
it was
Mary
cleaver?
was finally interviewed, she described her attacker as 5'8", clean-shaven, working man's outfit with a clear white skin tone.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm gonna. I don't want to make that joke because
The
I seem like a
technology New
horrible
Orleans
person.
police had to catch
But
the
that
man who would
description still
eventually
fits
become
it.
known as the
Yeah, it was pretty gruesome. always have trouble hearing that stuff with stuff.
Axeman
Yeah,
was
I
another
hate that.
eyewitness.
And like when I hear
Most
blood, I'm
detectives
sorry
wanted to
guys
tell
if
what
I
was going
scream.
on
I just hate
instinct.
thinking of blood.
And preserving a crime
I hate
scene wasn't
blood.
even thought of. At best,
It's
the
horrible.
department had 2 burglar
You know,
operators,
it's funny because like
officers who were
I can
trained
like
to
talk
measure
about
details of
ghosts and
criminal
demons and
reported
stuff like
crime.
that without
Criminology
even
was
batting an
intense
eye.
research.
But then when it
Returning
comes to
serial
like
killer
this stuff,
wouldn't be
it's just
coined
like
for another 50 years.
serial
The first
killer
crime
wouldn't be
lab was
coined.
only first set up in 1910.
Yeah,
and
he definitely
fingerprinting
is a
wouldn't
serial
become
killer.
available in the city until 1918.
Oh, okay.
Without science on their side, officers had to work fast. Or the
Yeah,
case would
I
turn
wouldn't say
cold
it's a
even
science,
faster.
but it definitely is a forensics tool. I'm just kidding, it
A
is
common
science.
tactic the police
Forensics
used
is
was to
science.
arrest someone under the pretenses of being a suspicious character,
Mhm.
and if you couldn't guess, this often came with extreme prejudices. When held, a suspect would be subjugated to the 3rd degree, a fancy term for beating until they confessed. A tactic
Jeez.
that often didn't work or produced false confessions, which was scoffed off at
Yeah.
most of the time, with the department being famously corrupt. Despite a $500 reward from the governor and good
That's a
detective
lot.
work from
That's a lot of
Italian
money for back
officer
then.
named John D'Antonio,
Example, it was like 1911. Look at that! Holy shit! $15,000. If I
rightly
was
guessed
like
the
that
man you
guy's,
were
if I was
after
the
was a
Axeman's
fiend who
friend,
did his crimes
I
because
would
he liked
turn
it.
him in.
The case went cold within 2 weeks.
I'm
The
like,
only
sorry,
lead was
I
one
turned him in.
Davies received from a man named Sam
I'd be like,
Pizzo,
fuck it.
but it went nowhere.
$15,000.
Despite this, a theory was soon developing among the city's residents that
And then
the
I'd move
Black
out.
Hand, or mafia, was behind all the killings.
The Black Hand.
As the investigation
Probably
died
buy
down,
food for way
so
cheap,
did
though.
interest in the Cleaver. After the Davy murder, he seemingly vanished for a year. In that time
Because
frame,
back then,
poor
the US
Mary
was like
gave
on the
birth
gold
to a son
system until
named
like
Joe, after
around
his father.
Nixon is when they swapped over to the dollar. What was it? I forget. I don't
The
know.
peace
Yeah,
was
yeah.
broken on
Where
May
they just print
16th,
money
1912.
to keep our cash valued.
Grocer Tony Schrambra, his wife
The
Joanna,
fiat
and their
system.
son Jake were in bed when someone broke in at 2 in the morning. The man got in through an unlatched window, went to the bedroom, and shot Tony 5 times with a .38 revolver.
Jesus.
He was killed instantly. A couple of bullets managed to strike Joanna, and she died 10 days later of
That
peritonitis.
sucks.
The mafia was suspected to be involved in this murder, and for good reason. Tony's brother Henry had been trying to sell the store to a notable gangster, Vito Di Giorgio. Giorgio was connected to New York crime boss Joseph Morello, and a local New Orleans
Oh
thug
my gosh,
named
is he
Joseph
the
Moffitt.
guy from like
After the
Mafia?
Schrambria murders,
Or what's the
Cleaver
game
wasn't
called?
seen again for another 5 years.
Why?
Why
Because
there
like
was a notable gap
I speak
is
Spanish. I'd say
anyone's
Morello.
guess.
I don't know why.
Although the most
Like,
likely
it is
explanation
Morello.
was prison time.
It's like it's Italian.
The Cleaver liked to
Italiano.
use railroad shoe pins, which was something a lot of seasoned burglars and thieves used. It's plausible that he merely got caught trying to break into a house and was arrested. During that time frame, the New Orleans police lost a valuable member tragically. On August 2nd, 1917, Terrence Mullen, a patrolman with mental health problems, walked into the office of now
Interesting.
Police Chief Jim Reynolds and shot him in the head. Thus died the only
Yikes.
high-ranking officer to suspect the Cleaver attacks were done by someone not motivated by money. His
Uh-huh.
replacement, former Illinois Central Railroad Superintendent Frank Mooney, was not
Railroad
an experienced
superintendent?
police
Okay.
officer. One of his first actions was shutting down the night detective wing and causing the only other expert on the case, John D'Antonio, to retire. This all came at a
Yikes.
terrible moment, for on December 22nd, 1917, the Fiend returned.
Okay.
Epifanio Ondolan, his wife Anna, and their 8 children were still asleep at 3 in the morning that night when he broke in. He chiseled a large panel out of the front door and crept in. Anna was woken up by the killer, who was holding a hatchet and a revolver. He yelled at her to shut up before striking Epifanio 5 times with the hatchet. He then turned around and started leaving as Anna screamed for help. As the man left, he walked through the boy's bedroom. The oldest son was hit on the head with the hatchet, and the younger
Shut
one was
up.
struck with the revolver. None of the police
That
working the case
sucks.
remembered the Cleaver. They treated this as a new one. Nobody got a good look at the man, and police assumed it was related to the Black Hand. Nothing else. The press soon nicknamed the assailant the Hatchet Man, another nickname for the same monster. Anna and the children eventually recovered, but Epifanio died 10 months later during the Spanish flu pandemic.
Dang.
The wounds he received probably contributed to his death.
I mean, you can't really. I mean, if they were still open, maybe.
The ghastliest crime yet
They
occurred.
could like
On May 23rd
scar.
at 4:30 in the morning, Andrew Maggio heard a faint groaning sound come from his brother Joseph's bedroom. After getting his other brother Jacob, the two had checked the room and were horrified. Joseph and his wife Catherine were lying still, the room caked in blood. Joe was still alive, but Catherine was already gone. An ambulance was called, but Joe died before it could arrive. He had been struck with an axe twice.
Those
fracturing
are the
skull and
ambulances?
cutting the
Dang.
throat. Catherine suffered worse, having been slashed with a straight razor 7 times in the
You know what's
face,
sad nowadays?
shoulder,
Certain
and
communities just
neck.
cannot
The
afford
last wound
an
had
ambulance.
cut her jugular,
Like straight up, they don't have an
leaving her
ambulance.
drowning in her own blood.
I feel like ambulances
The
should
killer
be
had
like in
again
every fucking
chiseled his
city, no
way
matter
in
what.
Without wearing shoes. And the axe
And
to
they
use
shouldn't
was held
cost so
by the
much to
Maggios.
fucking
A block away,
get
a
like
peculiar
service.
message was
It's like
left on the
literally
sidewalk via chalk.
Mrs. Joseph
when I was at school, they called the ambulance because I broke my head. The ambulance was like $1,000. Like what the fuck? And then like, because the school called the ambulance, the school just like cleaned their hands and just passed that cost on to my dad. Like what the fuck?
Was shaken. They remembered all the previous murders years before and were.
And it was because my dad signed a document earlier in the year saying if something happens to your son during PE, physical education, this happens. He had to pay the fucking
Basinger
ambulance.
eventually emerged, barring a notable wound on his head. The driver asked if his wife was okay.
Like, I'm
so
not
he
saying that
went
like I
to her
didn't need the
room and
ambulance.
found
I'm
her
saying like
nearly unconscious. She had been hit several
Like,
times in the chest.
it's just,
and
the
head
ambulances
with an
should just
axe.
not have
Her
a cost to
skull
them
had been
at all.
cracked. After an argument about getting help, the
It's like,
driver
the
went and
reason
found a police
why
officer.
there's a
This
big
case was
cost
stranger
is
than
to
the
literally
other.
service
Basinger's
ambulances.
wife, Harriet,
So what
had
I'm
been
saying is
struck
like the
on porch
government
with
should
an
like help
axe,
service
but
them.
there were no signs of forced entry.
It's not because the
The
hospital's
couple
making a
also kept
profit or
giving
anything crazy like
contradictory
that.
Information, and eventually it came out that Harriet wasn't his wife, and nobody could figure out if he was
Jesus.
Polish or German. An
Oh my
essential
God.
question since World
Why
War
is that
I was still
important?
raging. Rumors begin to
Okay, well
swirl that
actually
Louis was a German
that's the right
spy
question.
and a man with a
Never mind.
temper problem.
But yeah, fuck,
A
that
month later,
sucks.
Harriet would confess Louis had struck her. He was quickly thrown in jail and put on trial, but not before Harriet succumbed to her wounds on September 16th. Louis was eventually found innocent after a lengthy trial, but by that time, the American Jack the Ripper had already come back. On August 4th, a man snuck into the house of Mary Schneider and struck her in the head with a lamp. A couple of items were stolen,
Okay.
including an axe. It was this simple crime that led newspapers to give this killer his immortal nickname,
Axeman.
the Axeman. This attack led to a rise in citywide hysteria. Police
Yeah.
officers worked endless shifts patrolling the streets at night. Residents, especially Italians, often went to bed with weapons nearby in case he came. Despite this increased interest, he still attacked people. August 10th, the Axeman snuck into the Romano family home and attacked the oldest man in the
It
house.
sounds funny,
Joe.
cause
His
like
nephew
sadly,
Pauline, who
I
couldn't
like
sleep due to the recent attacks, saw the man flee her uncle's room.
I remember
He was
like
tall and
listening
fast.
to this
That's all
story
she
like a
saw.
while ago on
Joe
like
was
the
taken to
news
charity
about how
hospital,
like
where he
Mexican
died later that
families are like
He had been
arming
hit
up and
only
stuff like
once in
that.
the head with an
Like I
axe,
can't
but the
remember
blow
what
had
year it
pierced his
was. It was
brain.
like a while ago, and like it's like sad that like I'm able to like kind of relate
This
to that.
attack led to
Is this-
full-blown pandemonium in
Because
the
like you know this is
streets.
kind of like
Guns were
racism
bought en
against like
masse. People
Italians, or rather xenophobia, right? When was the ambulance bill? When was that ambulance bill? That was like in 7th
stayed
grade.
up all night holding loaded
8th grade,
shotguns or
actually.
revolvers, and
Fuck,
bullets
I'm
were
like
shot at
forgetting.
the slightest noise.
Yeah, it
Local
was like
cartoonists even drew
$1,000.
these events night after night.
Straight up,
Neighborhood
like
watches were
1,200
formed,
or
and
something.
People who looked different were hunted. Outlandish theories that the
Because of
Axeman
that
dressed as a
ambulance
woman
bill,
floated
my
around.
dad never wants to
Alongside
take an
panic was
ambulance.
a rise in burglary.
He'd
Dozens
rather
were reported
die
in the days
or
after the
like
Romano attack. Some of them
even
might
though like
been
it was the
accidents,
ambulance was like
some
for
of
me
them
and it would have
probably
and
not.
it obviously
It
saved
all
my
forced
life.
Chief Mooney's hand as the city was tearing
What was I
itself
gonna say? Because like it
apart.
broke my head and I even have a
Some
scar
went
to
so
show.
far as to mock the hysteria, with the eventual
But, what was he
supermarket
gonna say?
chain Piggly Wiggly even using the Axeman to market its stores.
He'd rather
Eventually,
like
the public
just
fear
drive
began to
himself
subside
to the
and burglaries
hospital.
slowed down. Whether this was due to
Yeah,
the
that's
Spanish
what
flu
that was
sweeping
my
the city
gym
or the
incident. Yeah,
Axeman feeling he had drawn too much attention, none could say.
I've told
He
that
wouldn't
story
return
before.
until next year, and it
I
would
really
be
milked
his
it,
most
though.
tragic attack. March 9th, 1919. Charles and Rosie Cortimiglia were violently attacked
That was
by an axe
weirdly
wielding
enough
fiend
not the
in
first
middle
time
of
I
the
almost
night.
died.
They survived, although Charles was severely cut up and at first not expected to
Jesus.
live, but their baby girl Mary was killed. The attack had
that's so
all the
sad.
telltale signs. A chiseled door panel, no shoes worn, a family axe used. Days later, Corto Maguila's neighbors, rival grocers Lorlando and his son Frank Giordano, were arrested. This stemmed from a confession Rosie made that they had been the attackers. This wasn't true. She had been forced to lie by local police. The two were put on trial and quickly found guilty. Lorlando was sentenced to life in prison, and Frank was sentenced to hang. Thankfully, Rosie eventually recanted, sparing Frank from the hangman's noose. But this miscarriage of justice never got much attention, compared to another event that happened days after the murder. On March 13th, the newspaper, the Times-Picayune, received a letter that was published 2 days later. It was from the killer himself.
Mysterious person's note.
They have never caught me, and they never will. They have never seen me, for I am invisible, even as the ether that surrounds your earth. I am not a human being, but a spirit and a demon from the hottest hell. I am what you Orleanians and your foolish police call the Axeman. When I see fit, I shall come and claim other victories. I alone know whom they shall be. I shall leave no clue except my bloody axe, besmeared with blood and brains of he whom I have sent below to keep me company. If you wish, you may tell the police to be careful not to rile me. Of course, I am a reasonable spirit. I take no offense at the way they have conducted their investigations in the past. In fact, they have been so utterly stupid as to not only amuse me, but His Satanic Majesty, Francis Joseph, etc. But tell them to beware. Let them try not to discover what I am.
Okay.
For it were better that they were never born to incur the wrath of the Axeman.
I hate to say this guy's trying to sound edgy.
I don't think there is any need of such warning, for I feel sure the police will always dodge me, as they have in the past. They are wise and know how to keep away from all harm. Undoubtedly, you Orleanians think of me as most a horrible murderer, which I am, but I could be much worse if I wanted to. If I wished.
Okay, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Every night. At will, I
Oh my god.
thousands of your citizens.
Edgy as murder? Exactly. Okay.
Angel of death.
Uh-huh.
To be exact, at 12:15 earthly time next Tuesday night,
Ooh.
I'm going to pass over New Orleans in my infinite mercy. I'm going to make a little proposition to you people.
Oh my god.
Here it is. I'm very fond of jazz music,
Uh-huh.
and I swear by all the devils in the nether regions that every person shall be spared in whose home a jazz band is in full swing at the time I have just mentioned. If everyone has a jazz band going, well, then so much the better for you people. One thing is certain, and that is some of your people who do not jazz it out on that specific night, if there be any, will get the axe. Well, as I am cold and crave the warmth of my native Tartarus, it is about time I leave your earthly home. I will cease my discourse, hoping that thou will publish this, that it may go well with thee. I have been, am, and will be the worst spirit that ever existed.
I almost read that as Norse.
realm
The
of
Norse
fantasy.
spirit.
The Axeman.
Uh-huh. Okay. Watch it be like some weird ass fan fiction for like
It became
some
a
person.
local legend that everyone played jazz that night, but in reality, there isn't proof that most people took this request seriously. On the requested night, there were parties, but not because an axe murderer said so. Many did nothing, only the extraordinarily superstitious or the most fearful of Italians. Regardless, the letter would become the Axeman's greatest legacy, because it resulted in what would possibly be the first ever serial killer song. Days after it was published, songwriter
Serial killer
Joseph
song.
John
You know what that
Aguilar
reminds me?
created
It reminds me of the
the
corridos,
mysterious
because
Axeman's Jazz,
most of them are
Don't
like,
Scare Me, Papa, which
yo
was a
soy
major
un
hit on
narcotraficante, tengo 500 balazos,
The
and
Axeman
like that and stuff like that, and you know they just start singing shit like that in like Mexico.
Four daughters was hit on the head with a blunt object while sleeping.
That's
The
so
family's
stupid.
axe was conveniently missing that night. Sarah was ultimately fine if a bit dazed and confused. The Axeman wouldn't strike again until October, but popular legend says otherwise. Most versions of this story talk about a man named Steve Boca being attacked on August 10th, and a man named William Carlson managing to scare off the Axeman on September 2nd. These aren't real people. They are names first mentioned in Robert Tollin's Ready to Hang, and whether he knew it or not, they are fictional people.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the next reported crime was quite real. October 27th, 1919 was the last reported attack linked to the Axeman. Grocer Mike Pepitone got out of bed upon hearing the sound of glass being broken. Suddenly, he was attacked in the dark by two individuals and was beaten on the head with a
This is
blunt
why. This is why I say, like, for example, that glass thing that he's saying right now. This is why when I hear like weird shit in the night moving, I'd wish it was a ghost rather than like some weird ass person sleeping or something like that. Okay, let me rephrase that because that sounds like somebody visits my house and fucking tries to do something weird like that. No, so you know, like when people break into your house, you hear like a rustling sound or something like that. Because I've never experienced that, and I never want to experience that. But basically, what was I gonna say? I'd rather it be a ghost than an actual person, because like holy fuck, that confrontation would scare the fuck out of me.
He was dead in minutes. His wife Esther was awake and witnessed the attack. After this attack, the Axeman was never seen again. Just as suddenly as he had appeared, he vanished into the night. Eventually, the image of a cold-blooded killer stalking the street began to dissipate, and the Italian community slowly moved on, faced with other, more important problems. The Axeman went from the terror of a city to a faded memory, kept only alive through the memories of those who lived the nightmare, and writers who found the story compelling. But it of course doesn't end this easy. Like any murder mystery, there are so many questions.
It's a murder mystery? What?
Were all these attacks connected? Was that shock message important? Was the letter real? Why did he attack Italians? Was the mafia really involved?
It's heliophobia,
and finally,
dude.
Who was
Heliophobia.
the Axeman?
Mysteries / questions. Okay.
Let's start with, was he behind all these attacks? The
Maybe
press and
not.
police might have believed they were, but with a modern understanding of serial killers, does that theory hold up? In our opinion, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
With that being said, the vast majority of
There
these
were like a
attacks
lot.
are still most definitely the same person. Italian grocers were broken into subtly. The victim was hit with a bladed weapon. Little was stolen, and the killer didn't wear shoes. But a couple
There could
of the
be a
crimes
couple
don't
of
fit this
crimes
description.
that like
The
somebody
Strangler
like
murders didn't use
was
an
trying
axe
to
or
like
blade.
act to be like or
used a
not
gun.
act, but rather
Serial
try
killers
to
can change MOs like Zodiac,
kind
but
of
it's
bring on
very
or
rare.
put on a pose
Something
or a
as drastic as going
disguise
from a blade to a
or try to
firearm
like
is
make themselves
doubtful.
seem like
The
the
reasoning is
Axeman.
primarily psychological and not for practical reasons. Someone using a bladed weapon to murder a human is doing it because, to them, it's more enjoyable to take a life by hand than at a distance. The Basumer attack was also not the Axeman. He wasn't Italian and there were no signs of a break-in. In all likelihood, Harriet was right. Luis was the assaulter in that instance. The two probably got into a vicious argument, Harriet struck him, and Luis almost killed her. Mary Schneider's attack was also likely an unrelated burglary.
He's just giving the
The
answers.
fact that several items were stolen and she was only hit once with a lantern doesn't fit the profile of the Axeman.
I don't know why I laughed there.
Sarah Lorman was probably attacked by a burglar inspired by the Axeman, as none of her family members were Italian or ran a grocery store. Finally, Mike Pepitone was not killed with an axe, and two people were described by his wife as the
The
attackers.
grocery store
They didn't
owners
sneak
were
in,
like
they broke a
wronging
window.
this guy probably. What the fuck is this? Alien
So the American
conglomeration?
number reflects the Axeman
Alien
was responsible for
gathering?
it. But this doesn't downplay
Who the
how
fuck
dangerous
is
he
in
really
my
was.
chat?
He killed at least 7 people and injured 7 more. That's more victims than his far more famous London counterpart, Jack the Ripper. Now on to the next question.
What's going on?
What was up with that chalk
Well,
drawing?
I don't know. When I read
First
Alien,
off, none of the writers who wrote about it physically saw
Never
it.
mind, I'm not gonna say
Several
whatever. I
newspapers
don't wanna say
reported
whatever,
radically
what I'm
different
thinking.
messages being on the sidewalk. Some versions sounded like broken English, some didn't. Since we are reasonably sure Tony Chiambra was not an Axeman victim, it's fair to assume the drawing didn't come from the killer. The Mrs. Tony chalk message in many ways resembles the infamous Golston Street graffiti from the Jack the Ripper case. A message that was close to a crime scene that at first glance looks important, but probably wasn't. Now on to a far more famous message from the killer. Was his famous newspaper letter demanding people play jazz really from him? At first glance, it seems likely. The letter is quite deranged and written to get attention, something serial killers are pretty well known for. It terrified some people and must have made the writer feel very powerful. But there are aspects to this letter that ring hollow and inauthentic. Recall that most of the witnesses describe the Axeman as wearing working men's clothing.
Yeah.
He was skilled at sneaking into houses, showing he probably had been a thief for a long time. Does this seem like the type of guy to speak eloquently about concepts
I don't
like
think so.
ether and Tartarus?
Maybe.
Some aspects of the letter seem to have been ripped from ones written by Jack the Ripper.
Cool, actually,
The
yeah, that
phrase,
makes
"fell
sense.
demon from the hottest hell" sure
I was about
sounds
to say,
similar
if I
what
became a
Jack
thief,
claimed to
I
be from hell
fucking
in
certainly
his
would
letter
speak
of the same
eloquently.
name.
I would be like, I am something that cannot be obtained. I ascertain that you abstain. You know what? I'd
Not
be
to
like
mention,
that.
the obsession with jazz feels a bit strange for someone who never expressed any interest in music
I'd
prior
be
to the
fucking
letter.
rapping my
But we
words.
do know Joseph
I'd
Jordan
be like
Vila
the
was
thief
both
rapper or
well-educated
something.
and
I don't
wrote
know.
his famous Axeman song pretty fast to capitalize
I
on
like how
the
we said
note.
it off the
If he
cadence
didn't
and
write
what-
the letter himself, the writer wasn't the man killing Italians. It was someone
Okay.
seeking attention or
Yeah, that's what I thought. They were like Shadow the Hedgehog. They
Speaking of
were
the
edgy
Italian
as fuck.
community, that's an important question to ponder. Why did he target
Oh my
exclusively
God.
Italian people, especially Italian grocery store owners? Well, this requires an understanding of the immigrant experience at the time. Post-Civil War, the rich and powerful couldn't use slave labor for plantations for obvious reasons. In the 1880s, a large wave of Italian and Sicilian immigrants were arriving due to trouble at home. They were willing to do anything to get paid and support their families. This led many of them to become sugarcane workers, a truly backbreaking and miserable job. Many wished to branch off into their own business, and running a grocery store was a pretty optimal strategy. The problem with all this is that the average native-born citizen of New Orleans didn't think highly of these Italians. These immigrants weren't born in the US, they often had a darker skin tone, didn't speak English, and got along well with the now freed slaves. To many locals, they were the lowest rung of society, and they
You know, this still echoes today. Many people like about like, you know, Latin American people and people like from similar backgrounds or similar situations, they still think that way.
White
And
men.
it's sad.
The Axeman was likely a low-class working man. Perhaps he felt he was swindled out of a job or was arrested by Italians when trying to steal something from a grocery store. These attacks clearly contained a pent-up racial motive alongside the more common serial killer traits of impaired emotions and a desire to feel superior to others. Now, at this point, we have been dodging the question a bit, but it's worth asking. Was the Mafia involved in any of this?
And like the crazy
Well,
part
it's
is,
a complicated
like
question
nowadays,
because the word mafia didn't
like,
mean what you or
because like
I think.
something like the
Nowadays,
weirdest
the
thing
word
about
conjures up
racism
images of the
is that
Godfather
like,
or famous
or
real-life
rather
criminals
racist,
like Lucky
is that
Luciano
eventually
or
they
Al
grew
Capone. What was going
to
on
like
in New Orleans
include
wasn't
Italians
at all like
as part of the white
In
race,
Sicily, the birthplace of
and
the
that's a
Mafia,
crazy.
it was a
That's
system
like
of protection. Someone would
it's like
ask
some
for
other
protection
thing.
from
That's like
bandits. This person
some
would
political
eventually
thing
expand
that
the number of
dude.
people
You could get
protected
into
to
it,
an
man.
entire village and
It's
expected
crazy
something
because
in
like
return.
that's how they
There was crime
increase their
involved,
like
but also an air of legitimacy.
their
This
power. You
so-called
know, they
New
just
Orleans
add a new
Mafia in the
group,
early
and they're
1900s
like, you know,
wasn't
man, you're
connected
white
to this
too. Come
concept.
join us.
It was small street
That's how you
gangs
get
that
Nazis and
sometimes
stuff. I
included
swear.
low-level members who fled Sicily.
Scary.
Another aspect was the Black Hand crimes. It was pretty simple. A group of men or one man would send a letter to an Italian with a request for money or else. It often contained just a black hand or a skull and bones. These again weren't organized criminals. They weren't bribing cops or politicians. It was all really low-key and disorganized.
Yeah.
A mafia as we know it would eventually rise under Silver Dollar Sam Carollo, but not until the 1920s. Despite all this, many people in the city believed these gangs or thugs were very organized.
Antonio
The
de
belief in a
Rosto.
unified Black Hand society
Philip
that ruled
Uma.
the city was widespread.
Philippe.
This further bled into anti-Italian sentiment, most infamously in 1891 when 11 Italians were lynched following the assassination of Irish police chief David Hennessy. His murder might have been connected to these gangs. Now, with all that said, was the Mafia, or whatever you want to call it, involved with the Axeman? To be honest, probably in a few of the cases, although not the ones with an axe. These gangs could be incredibly violent, but it was usually with a bomb or a gun. Tony Chamber's murder was precisely what these types of crimes looked like, and there was a connection to a mafia as well. Same with Mike Pepitone. His family had a fairly negative relationship with a specific gang that stretched back to 1910. The bad history began with two gangsters named George D. Martini and Paul D. Christina. They tried to kill a man named Vincent Morrissey, a foreman for the United Fruit Company. Instead, Morrissey and a certain Peter Pepitone killed the two would-be thugs. These gangs didn't forget such violence, and Morrissey was gunned down 5 years later. Peter was constantly worried they would come looking for him and his son Mike. By sheer coincidence, one of the gangsters accused of killing Vincent Morrissey in 1915 was a fellow we mentioned before, Joseph Mumfre, which leads us to the final question. Who was the Axeman of New Orleans?
Yeah, that's I don't know. I don't know any because I don't have all the backups.
For information about the Axeman,
if it was me, I'd say I don't know.
Mumfre's name attached to the case. He's often said to be the chief suspect in the attacks, but is that true? Mumfre, who went by the nickname Doc because he sometimes prescribed medication, was a very shady character. He looked a lot like a stereotypical gangster, a tall man with a scar on his face. He was arrested multiple times for shaking down people, attempting to firebomb a grocer, and other less than upstanding deeds. He was actually kicked out of New Orleans prior to Mike Pepitone's murder, so he probably wasn't involved with that. In 1919, he moved to Los Angeles and became business partners with an old friend named Angelo Albano. Their relationship eventually fell apart since Mumfre was still an untrustworthy man at heart. By pure chance, in 1921, Angelo married Esther Pepitone. Whether Mumfre knew her from his old New Orleans days, we don't know. But luck was about to run out for the newlywed couple. On October 27th, Angelo disappeared without warning. Weeks later, Mumfre walked into Esther's house, demanding money and admitting to having killed Angelo. The confrontation ended with Esther shooting him 11 times. She was found not guilty in court, mainly because the jury felt Mumfre deserved it. Local newspapers in New Orleans didn't quite report the story honestly. They spun it as the widow of an Axeman murderer getting revenge on a lowlife who might have been the killer all along. This story was repeated a couple times until it was written down in Robert Talon's book, Ready to Hang, where it continues to make the rounds to this day. Some people even question if Mumfre was even a real person, and not a figment of a writer's imagination. Let's be clear, Joseph Mumfre was a real person, but he was not the Axeman of New Orleans. People claiming he was are just looking for an easy ending to this story.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot to, like, think there. Some stories, you know, you gotta think whether you want the easy ending or, like, the actual ending.
Truthfully, we really don't know.
Yeah, see,
the New Orleans
that's
police
me right there.
never had
I
a
don't know.
suspect that could be linked to more than one murder. They never held any forensic evidence that could be used, and despite having a detailed description of the killer, they never came close to identifying him. What became of him? Well, a series of crimes a few years later may hold the answer. December 1920, in Alexandria, Louisiana, a man snuck into the home of grocers Joseph Sparrow, his wife Rosa, and his daughter Josephine. Joseph was murdered with an axe. Rosa was hit in the head but managed to survive, and baby Josephine died days later. On January 14th, 1921, in DeRidder, Louisiana, grocer Giovanni Orlando was found dead with a large axe wound in his head. His wife Mary and 2 children were wounded, but thankfully lived. Finally, on April 12th, in Lake Charles, Louisiana, Frank Scalisi was murdered with an axe by an intruder. His wife Marlena ran a grocery store. She and her 5 children were unharmed. These crimes certainly fit the description. A door chiseled open, a family axe used in the attack, all the victims Italian or Sicilian, the victims owned a grocery store. There is one complication. Mary Scalisi, the 10-year-old daughter of Frank and Marlena, claimed to get a good look at the killer. She claimed it was a black man who broke into the house. Every other witness was positive the criminal was white. While this is a problem, she was merely a child, so it's difficult to take her descriptions.
Why did he say like that? Oh my god.
Regardless, in all likelihood, the Axeman left New Orleans and moved to smaller towns where his crimes were barely reported. If that was the case, he didn't stop. He wasn't capable of stopping. The biggest boogeyman in New Orleans history not only got away scot-free, but he also continued his rampage without anyone noticing. In many ways, it's not hard to compare the Axeman to Jack the Ripper. Both got away with their crimes, both struck fear into an entire city, and both targeted a particular type of person.
And you know, recently they found proof that they know who Jack the Ripper is. It was like an article I recently read. Earlier DNA evidence emerged that suggests we identified Jack the Ripper. A Shaw. Let's read this. Keep in mind, I'm reading this fast, so like, if anybody's like interested in this article, they can read it all. If I remember reading correctly. To name, yeah, Kosminski. Kosminski was a crazy person, from what I remember. Jack the Ripper. Newspaper recently been a buzz identified Aaron Kosminski as Jack the Ripper. It's like we have like maybe some sort of lead there. There's like nothing like that here.
Jack targeted women. Axeman went after Italians. They also probably weren't as bright as we make them out to be. As you can see, it wasn't as hard to get away with murder as you would like to think.
Yeah.
Law enforcement could only do so much and sometimes couldn't even do the bare minimum. People like Axeman and Jack weren't brilliant criminals, just bottom feeders who preyed on marginalized people, often mocked by society and rarely mourned. As for Jack, he's being saved for another time. Whoever the Axeman was, we'll never know, but we know the type of man he was, and he wasn't impressive in the slightest. For a serial killer, he happened to leave more victims alive than not, but that's not how his reputation is treated. 100 years has given him quite a lot. Starring roles on horror TV shows, references in video games, an enjoyable theme song, it's nothing when compared to people like Elizabeth Bathory or Myra Hindley. But it's more than the average person will ever receive.
Yeah.
However, if the police
obviously we shouldn't like be like, oh, these killers are cool, because like that's
would
wrong.
he even be treated
It's
like
completely
this?
wrong.
We build him up as this demonic creature, but if we had ever seen him in the flesh, well, the devil is a real disappointment.
Bottom feeder, like he said. Should
Remember
rip open that shell.
Next time at Mardi Gras, when someone brings up the legend of a man who drove the Big Easy mad, that he wasn't from the hottest hell. He was a product of his environment, an environment created from hatred and bigotry. The only thing that separated Axeman from the rest of New Orleans was an impulse to act on that bigotry.
This video is really good.
Without regret. He wasn't cool or fun. He murdered innocent people because of who they were, because they dared come to this land of opportunity, because they dared to start a better life.
Oh my gosh.
One is done and over.
No,
A
now
man
he's
is
not
just a
based.
man.
Just kidding. No,
Our souls corrode and our bones turn to dust. It's the fate of the Axeman of New Orleans, suffered long after his crimes were forgotten.
Turns out
All
he
that
traveled to the
remains
future
is
and
his
he's about to
legend and
murder me. I'm just kidding.
Alongside the countless
Dude,
other
that'd be
legends and
fucking
spirits
crazy.
from the city's past and present.
That's how you
Spirits and
know
legends
time traveling
that
or
will
time
always be
travelers aren't like
in the
real
city
yet.
that can't
Because we don't see those types of weird shit, like, or rather, we don't see that type of like event happening. Like, if you get murdered by a person from the future, like, what the fuck? That'd be insane. Anyhow, here's the next video. My mod recommended me to watch. The Terrifying YouTube Family. So let's watch that. Yeah, so that last video was really good.
It helps you and it helps us.
Dude, we're already like 11:18. Holy heck. So quite a bit to go. Oh, I feel so tired. Whew. It's like my head is just like, go to sleep. And also, every time I do this, honestly, it feels so good. It feels like I'm massaging my leg, even though I'm massaging my forehead. Oh, it's like I kind of like, not end, but like, just want to lay down. Content warning: this video features discussion of drug use, gore, and other similarly disturbing topics. If any of these subjects are too much for you, okay. Cool. So I'm gonna be on the video, watching, and if anything comes up that's like, you know, concerning, definitely will skip.
In the world of YouTube, it's no secret that some truly depraved content finds its way onto the site. With the amount of content uploaded every single minute, hell, every second, that shouldn't be too much of a surprise. However, actually finding these hidden crevices is another story. The majority of the time I find a creepy YouTube channel, it's usually an ARG or something completely unexplainable.
Yeah.
But tonight I found something.
Then there's like real scary.
Deep on the
and then there's like the nasty ones.
Reaches of YouTube, starting all the way back in 2010,
like
is a channel called Noah Martin.
And prey on people, you
What
know?
this channel holds is shocking, to say the least.
Oh shit, please don't start with something crazy.
On this channel,
okay, I shouldn't pause it.
Videos exist, all of which are
There's nothing
truly
there.
disturbing, especially when put together.
I am ready to fucking block this.
The first video is titled "The Effects."
That was a mannequin. That was a mannequin. I refuse to believe that was anything but a mannequin. Wait, Brian, are you still here, Brian? What is this video? Oh no, he's gone. That was a mannequin. Mannequin. Text, yes. Let's make a new new text up. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna cover the fucking video. We're gonna listen to the audio until I think it's safe to fucking pull out the fucking video, right? Let's put damn that. Is this from my coding class I had earlier? Let's do that. There we go. And oh, I can see my fucking code. Imagine it doxes me. My code fucking doxes me as my school's name.
The first video is titled "The Effects of Datura, Funny," which should already brace you for what is to come in this video.
Which way did he go? What the f? What are you, an idiot? Are you an idiot? Uh-oh.
The effects of Datura? What the fuck is that? Is that a drug?
Let's go.
As you can see, the video seems to show a person clearly under the effects of the drug, visibly going through its motions. What's worse, there are a multitude of people in the video, and they are all egging him on throughout it.
Yeah.
Oh my
The way
god.
in which they all seem to speak and laugh makes me uncomfortable as well. It almost reminds me of something out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. As the video continues, he simply wanders around the house, clearly not fully aware of what he is doing. At one point, we get to see another person from inside the house, and he seems very out of it himself.
No, it can't be that close. It's gotta magnify. Yeah. Jack, how you doing?
Yeah, I can't show that.
And while this first video is certainly disturbing, the true reason we're covering this channel are for these videos that follow. The next video is titled Morgellons disease, which is a term that we'll be getting to soon.
I can only imagine what the fuck Morgellons disease means.
But the actual video itself features multiple voices talking, and an extremely zoomed in camera that makes it kinda hard to see what's going on.
Where's my specimen? Put it on the knife. Right there. It's too big. It'll fall off.
Oh my god.
It's right in there. Where? Open that up, please.
Like, there's nothing going on, but like, there's just a knife.
Right. Put the camera down.
There's nothing going on.
Where is it?
Dude, I
It's right here
better
on the
not get
couch.
mad at this thing.
Oh, wow. Is it in there? Wow, that was huge. Yeah, it's in there. I saw that fall. Wait, let me look in there too. Yeah, look in there now.
As the video continues, it's clear that an actual at-home surgery has taken place. A chunk of one of the speaker's skin has clearly been taken out and put inside of a jar. He's also very clearly completely awake during it all. As videos continue on the channel, some of them are definitely pretty random, such as a video about a supposed UFO, which is very clearly just an airplane. But when things really begin to get interesting is when the face-to-face updates begin. Starting with Morgellons extreme surgery, we start seeing the man that is being worked on, as he talks about why this is all going on.
Well, okay. Hello to everyone out there in YouTube land. Here we are today going to do some surgery on some Morgellons. They say Morgellons comes from chemtrails. It's some pretty nasty stuff.
Chemtrails? Oh my god.
Why
does he believe in chemtrails? Like, yes, some chemicals in airplanes do fucking affect people. Like, there was a news story, and this isn't like the chemtrails thing. It was more like it was an accident. There was an airplane maybe 2-3 years ago that sprayed a bunch of like fuel oil in like Los Angeles, and it landed on little kids. Right? Obviously, that affected them. But like chemtrails, I don't know.
Take it all the way out with pretty much no anesthetic.
Oh my god.
And so for everyone's benefit, here we go.
So yes, as the video said, apparently in order for this operation to work, he can't use any anesthetics at all. The description even confirms this, as it says, "Must be ripped out. We are using no anesthetics. This is a government conspiracy to depopulate the planet." After this, we get multiple videos in a row, all titled Morgellons
Crazy
surgery.
person.
And well, it is just that. We obviously can't show footage from any of these videos, but they are truly a hard watch. As the man's arm is being worked on, you remember, of course, that he is not under any anesthetics at all.
Yeah, that could fucking kill him.
You're fucking out of your mind? No, you're not.
As you can see, they have to nip it around and then pull it out to get all the little Morgellons from inside.
Dude, I don't see anything. It's just a blurred image, and I don't want to. I still don't want to show it off.
Eventually, we come to another update video. This one is titled Jack 1, as that seems to be the name of this guy, and he lets us know more about this supposed disease that he is suffering from.
All right. Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. Welcome to my nightmare. Tonight, we're going to be working on some Morgellons lesions. We're going to cut them out, and with no anesthetic.
Oh, it's just
They say
him
these
talking, but he
things
looks
come
so.
from chemtrails.
Yikes.
A bunch of aluminum and bioengineered organisms of all sorts, and barium and something else I can't remember. But anyway, they say that 80% of the population will test positive, whether they have the lesions or not.
Oh, I just remembered what Morgellons is! Isn't it like when those little fucking hairs or whatever start growing? It's like there's these people that suffer from this imaginary disease called Morgellons, where basically they start growing these weird fibers and they blame fucking chemtrails, dude. Oh my god, I remember hearing of this on like what was it, Sci-Fi or something? It was ran through Sci-Fi, the History Channel, or there's another one that I'm forgetting. Fuck, Time. It's like a channel that sits in like a T or has like a T as like its logo or something.
So,
No.
I guess we'll get started.
This is like on cable. Fuck. No, a BBC or something. I don't know. Was it one of those channels?
As you can see from the video,
It's crazy,
the descriptions
dude.
he's giving when it comes to what causes this disease is extremely out there, and almost seems to border on conspiracy territory, which I suppose shouldn't be too surprising when taking into account one of the previous video subscriptions.
Right,
Even
Morgellons. Let me
disturbing,
switch that
if
up
you
now.
watch these surgery videos as they go on, they are clearly beginning to get more and more severe, which is very alarming.
And then there's other people that are like, oh my gosh, I'm getting
At
parasites
last,
and stuff.
we are finally treated to the final update video on the channel. This one also being titled just Morgellons disease. And he has this to say.
Alright, hello boys and girls out there in YouTube land. I hope you enjoyed that last little bit where we cut out those hunks of Morgellons material. We're going to do it again. I have another spot on my arm that's about twice as big as the ones we just did. So I hope you enjoy my pain, and here we go.
Nothing was heard from him ever again, was it?
Through watching the video, you can actually still see bits of the wound on his arm. And if you look at the surgery video directly before it, that's because they were uploaded the exact same day. What's worse is that, as he said, they were not done, and the final batch of videos sure proved that. After all this, 3 more videos would be uploaded, all on the exact same day, featuring more gross surgery footage, before the channel went into the dark for good. The channel is still up for anybody to see, but there has been no activity since 2012. Or has there?
It was hacked. Don't tell me it was hacked.
That's right. Believe it or not, in the comments section of all these videos, we have ourselves a possibly even more disturbing lead. From the time of recording this, just a year ago, every upload on this entire channel were commented on by an account with the exact same name of Noah Martin. In almost all of them, he says, he just died a few days ago. With the context when it comes to the videos, this certainly has
that's
and one comment thread
definitely
may have confirmed
echoing
my suspicions even more. When one user commented asking where the surgery was had and by who, Noah Martin comes in and says something that may be responding to a possible deleted comment since it doesn't make total sense as a response. But what it says regardless leaves one with a lot to think about. It is not on the mind. It is very well under the skin. I cut them out and they healed right up. He just died in the hospital a few days ago.
What?
So as stated previously, all of Noah's comments pretty much follow in the same vein as those did. But out of curiosity, I also had to check out this newer YouTube channel to see if anything was happening as recently as now.
It is not in the mind? What the fuck does that mean?
Kinda. There are multiple videos on this channel, but they are pretty much entirely random.
Yeah.
And thankfully, they do not have anything to do with Datura or surgery in any form. The uploads are still strange though, as they seem to be complete nonsense. Uploads are pretty much either random screen recordings from a phone or camera, footage from specific rooms, often featuring filters. The only difference is that unlike the videos on the original channel, there was no talking at all in any of these videos.
Dang, this video was trip. And it's not, it's not done yet.
That's pretty much where things end. This was a really disturbing group of people that may have ended just as dark as we might have expected.
Yeah. So he's still gonna keep it up because he still have a little bit more
laid out in
footage.
front of us, tons and tons of questions
How am I gonna get rid of
we're
this?
hoping to find the answers for. And, well, let's just go ahead and do that.
Questions. Oh wow. I'm gonna lay backwards. Hold on. Just my seat. Oh fuck. It's still
The first
stiff.
question that we feel the need to answer is one that we find pretty obvious, and that is whether this whole thing was real or not.
Yeah.
If there's anything we've learned when discussing some of the oddities we've discussed online, it's that the skepticism of people can sometimes go absurdly far. Obviously, being skeptical can have its strengths,
Yeah.
but having a realistic balance is the most important of all.
Exactly. So
If you
that's
show
like
somebody a disturbing
that's like
channel-
when I react to ghost videos. I'm not saying that my skepticism is healthy, but I feel like sometimes it is a little unhealthy. You know what I mean? Because some things I just say, no, it's fake. I really want to be challenged one day by somebody that actually truly brings up like actual like concrete evidence, right? But like, that's besides the point. The point here is that like sometimes when I'm presenting these ghost videos too, I may show like an unhealthy level of
with
skepticism.
videos that seem to expose more and more information to us with the majority of its uploads, you will have people screaming fake, no matter what. But let's be assured.
And I don't want to
this
do
is
that.
not at all the
But like
case.
sometimes it just happens
The graphic
on
footage
accident.
that we were unable to show was proof
And
enough
I'm gonna work on
that
that
this was
well.
not at all.
That's
fake.
why I come up with like elaborate
The
ways to like,
mannerisms and ways of thinking these
maybe,
people
like,
shared are
see-
sadly very genuine too.
No, that's a good point too. Because here's the thing, like say like I were to go to like explore. No, I were. One of my friends went to explore like a haunted location, and they heard footsteps. To them, them saying that there's a ghost and they believe in a ghost, that is a very real experience to them, right? But for me to come in there and fucking tell them that's not real, that's fucked up, right? And for example, this guy, in this video, right? He's suffering from Morgellons. Whatever the fuck it is that he had in his arm, because apparently, according to the video, what the video guy described was that he had, well, they were doing surgery on a spot that was just there already, right? And we're gonna do surgery right here too, or whatever the fuck else, right? There was definitely some sort of condition probably happening on this guy, right? And that's like weird.
Questions also shed more light onto why this was most definitely real.
Yeah.
And well, that has to do with the mysterious disease that's mentioned all over the videos. Morgellons disease. What is it? If you were me, you had never heard of this disease before.
Yeah.
And so as a result, I decided to do some research on it. And the results were certainly really interesting. Morgellons disease has no actual proof in the world of science when it comes to actually being a real thing. The supposed symptoms of Morgellons are similar to what is mentioned in the video. Apparently, it is a skin condition in which individuals believe that there are sores beneath their skin, including fibrous materials. Our key word here is believe. Among scientists, Morgellons disease is most commonly believed to be a form of delusional parasitosis.
I was about to bring that. Yeah. So like for some people, it's actually like mental, not mental health. It's like a mental disorder, right? Where basically they believe they have parasites underneath, but these parasites can be substituted in for like fibers. But like yeah, it's sad because again we can't like necessarily discredit them because you know they're experiencing something, and it's also like a thing I just want to bring up because like you know I don't want to like foster a community that just like fucking says ghosts are fake and stuff like that, right?
I do believe that this
And
man's
also like when it comes to like scary videos and videos with like involving like weird events and disorders and
featured some damage on it.
you know
But due to
conditions.
the symptoms that are more than likely
Obviously,
an
I don't want to
occurrence
call
here,
like
I'd assume
oh
that a
that
lot of
person
it
that
was
has hair on their
self-made
face, it's
or
fake. You know what I
hallucinogenic
mean?
sensations were
Could be like a
occurring and made him
condition.
think something was beneath his arm. But with the usage of Datura, I'm also assuming that these people have gotten their way around plenty of other more hardcore drugs in their lifetimes. Probably the most famous example of a skin condition through drugs is likely
Datura? Dude, oh my god. Dude, oh my god, what the fuck? Dude, that plat that they have on there? My neighbor used to grow some of those. But like they would make it into a shampoo. I remember this one time I like fucking shampooed myself with it. What the fuck? And it's used to make drugs, and that's fucking crazy.
What we're all
We don't
thinking
have
here.
this plant anymore in my house.
I can't
or the
confirm that
neighbors.
these people were users
That's crazy.
of it, but I'd say that if it wasn't already being done through Datura, it was likely the result of either
Or actually, it may have
amphetamines
been a similar plant. Like the point stands still.
another
We
drug
made
that
it into
causes these
shampoo.
symptoms, which really
That's
just
crazy.
adds tragedy to this entire situation.
Yeah. So it could be drugs, I guess.
Moving away from the
that
disease
made him
entirely,
think that.
knowing more about Noah seemed important to me.
Mhm.
While the channel is called Noah Martin, the two main constants in these uploads was the female speaker performing the surgeries and the old man who was named Jack.
Yeah.
These people both obviously are not Noah, and so I was simply wondering who he even was to begin with, especially when factoring in the channel that showed up as recently as a year ago. A few of the uploads did feature a ton of people in the home, and so I'm definitely assuming that he was one of the many friends that seemed to be there, but I definitely was confused why everything was under his name, especially when he doesn't even seem to be in a single upload. My only theory is that this whole family of people is not the most technologically advanced,
Yeah.
and Noah might have been the only one with an account, so they just all used his. The final thing that relates to this is one that was briefly brought up earlier. What is the deal with this new Noah Martin account from just over a year ago? Could it be a fake account, or is it really related? To me, I'd say it's safe to say that it is. This rabbit hole is extremely unknown and was even more unknown
Yeah.
when this new Noah account was made.
I mean, he's just basing that
So to
off
me,
the
I
context,
just don't
right?
see someone LARPing this far for something
But
that
yeah.
doesn't really have any attention. More proof for me is the typing style, the
Yeah.
grammar and spelling, or lack thereof. In this case lines up pretty perfectly to the descriptions of all these videos. It's also sadly not hard to believe the information he shared about Jack's ultimate fate, though how exactly it happened is still shrouded in mystery too, and is the final thing we're left wondering tonight. Is it possible that these grotesque surgeries directly killed him? Well, I'm really unsure, honestly.
Yeah, we don't
I'm
have
gonna go
anything.
out on a limb here and say that these homemade surgeries were extremely unsafe.
But
and
yeah, they are
probably not
unsafe. Like
properly
you,
sanitized.
you gotta, just gotta use like what is it called? Fuck, what is it called when like a tool is not sanitized? Well, it is sanitized, right? But like, sterilized. Yeah, you gotta have sterilized tools, otherwise you're fucked.
They were also likely removing chunks of skin that just did not need to be removed. That is certainly the recipe for an infection, but I also find it just as likely that this man could have died any other way a year ago.
Yeah.
He was old in his videos in 2012, and nearly 10 years have passed since. Truthfully, anything could have happened. According to the most descriptive comment, his surgery wounds healed right up, but he only died in the hospital a few days ago. This is very vague. When did these surgeries heal up?
Oh, when that
How
guy
long did they
showed
really
up
go on for?
in the first video,
These
I
answers
thought they were
change
fucking
everything.
killing him.
They are unfortunately
I
not.
think they gave him drugs.
The
As he
wounds
said they
that
were a
mentioned
mannequin.
here could have very well been the ones seen in the video, and they could have healed up quite a long
Jesus.
time ago, and he simply died in the hospital from something else those few days ago. Or they could have continued doing these surgeries for a very long time after the upload stopped.
That's dreadful.
And then he died in the hospital. There's literally no way to prove either possibility here, and that's all we're given. I'd like to hope that the death was unrelated to possible complications from these surgeries, but as we said, we sadly can't prove or disprove anything of this sort. And that's where this mystery ends.
It's scary. I'm sad.
In conclusion, this channel serves as a really unsettling reminder of just how distorted the worldview of some people can become under the wrong circumstances. With everything happening over 10 years ago, we can only hope that the rest of the people featured in these videos have since cleaned up and abandoned this lifestyle. But sadly, that is not something we can prove either.
Yeah, I'm glad I watched this video. These are really good videos from Primal SSB.
Thank you guys
I'm just
so
kidding.
much
Obviously,
for
he didn't
watching.
make
As
it.
always,
But,
make sure to
he
like this
freaking
video,
found them,
make
right?
sure to comment down below what you would like us to cover next. All of our social media is in the
Should I
description.
thank him
Our
for coming
Patreon,
by?
Debunk Plus, is only $1 a month, and you guys
Keep
get some
on continuing.
awesome stuff. Our Discord is great. Jif's always in there. I'm doing my best. I'm in there quite a bit, so if you guys want to chat with some people, we're always in there. As always, my name is Sep from Debunk File. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.
There we go. So next up, we're on to text conversations with disturbing backstories. So at around this time, I always like for example, when it was like I say like July 18th. No, I don't know. Last year around sometime, I did like this thing where like I went up to like 3 a.m. This scary streamer, and I think around this time it was like either I want to say it was raining, but like that's just like because like I like when it rains, but it was like late at night, and I just put on fucking scary story video. This is when at around like 11, like not even 11, like basically around 12 is when I start like going from like I talk a lot to just like I'm just like just like watching the video, listening to whatever's going on, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I start fucking up because like I start hearing the details all wrong, and by fucking up obviously I mean like when they're like, and my friend, he unfortunately didn't make it. He was taken by the cops. I don't know, something like that. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then I sound stupid as fuck, right? So if you all see me yawning and falling asleep, I'm sorry. It's just like, because I'm not used to like sleeping late.
On March 4th, 2022,
Yeah.
these were the texts 21-year-old college student.
Holy shit. So yeah, let's start right away. Is that low? Oh wait, no, but it's because I have 14 volume. 30.
Gavin received after getting home from a
If it's low for you guys, just tell me and I'll up the volume.
Yes, who's this? It's Alex.
What the fuck was that? This channel doesn't get ads.
Where you at? Send your location. I'm at home. What happened to you?
Oh wait, let's like
What
this
number
video.
is this? I'm using my friend's phone. We're stranded at the bar. Can you call us an Uber to your house?
Okay.
What?
No,
How'd you
don't do
just
that.
it? Dude, my app isn't working. Just figure it out. I don't even know what that means. Just send your address.
Ugh, what the fuck?
Gavin was out with his friends Alex and Omar.
Don't send your
They were
address.
last with each other at a bar in Dallas called Parliament. The trio was getting ready to wrap up the night, but Alex stayed behind when he saw other friends at the bar. So Gavin and Omar went home, and about an hour passed with no contact between the three. That was when Gavin received the text from the random number, and as you see, they claimed to be Alex using his friend's phone. Alex had lost his phone, and he was using his friend's phone, who Gavin apparently had never met before.
Yeah.
He was asking Gavin to call him an Uber, since according to him, it wasn't working on his phone. Gavin refuses, basically noting how silly that sounds, and tells him to call his own. The conversation picks up here, where Alex agrees to apparently call his own Uber and asks for Gavin's address. Gavin stated that this was around the time he was becoming slightly suspicious, but he still gave his address.
Okay.
However, not without making a comment about how he should memorize his address by now. He says he cut him some slack due to the fact that he was drinking. Gavin asked him why he was using his friend's cell phone.
I don't know. I've never been drunk, nor do I want to be drunk ever. But I am pretty. Even my mom and dad, when they're like drunk, and I mean like they're like downing like 10 cervezas, right? 10 beers. Fucking have what is that one? Don Crow. I don't know what the fuck that beer is. It's like a spherical like liquor almost or something. Obviously they drink tequila and stuff like that. They fucking know where we live. They even drive me back home. Like, you know what I mean? From like wherever we were partying, like as in like, I'm just playing with my cousins, games and stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, we gotta go," Like, what the fuck?
To which he got a response that Alex lost.
It's
his
a little
phone.
weird, but I guess it's
He
a
then lets
different
them know
person,
that
and
they're on their
obviously I'm
way.
basing this off
When
like
Gavin
my
asks
own
Alex
experience.
if he knew his friend,
and
he
not
responds, "Nah, he's cool."
like as the broader
10
experience.
minutes later, the number sends a text.
'Cause I
that
don't know
truly
that.
starts to make the conversation suspicious. Can
But yeah,
just
no,
move to
this
the
cover.
point
I
when
would.
we get there?
You know what I would do?
As if asking Gavin to leave.
I'd be like, blocked. I just I'd be blocked. I'd just block the fucking number, and if it was my friend, I'd say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were a creep," and just confess that that's actually
The
what I
door
thought.
unlocked. It was at this moment that he started to question everything about the interaction.
Yeah.
From the first text being, "Hey, is this Gavin?" to the asking Gavin to call them an Uber, to now the leaving the door unlocked. He tried to call the number, but it rang and went to voicemail. He then tried to text and call Alex's number repeatedly, but it would just keep going to voicemail, and the text would just say delivered. Gavin stopped answering this foreign number now and called his friend Omar to ask him if he'd heard anything from Alex, to which Omar said he had not. After reading Omar all of the texts, Omar agreed something was off. They looked to call the bar Parliament, but there was no number listed online to call. Around this time, the number texted Gavin again, saying, "We're here, open the door." Gavin went to his door and looked through the peephole of the door. There was no one in immediate view though, which maybe at first would have implied it was all a prank. But when there was a knock at the door, Gavin checked the peephole again.
Jesus
still no one on the other
Christ.
side. Reality of the situation was setting in now for Gavin.
They were
This
inside?
was no longer just texts on a screen. Someone was actually on the other side of his door.
Oh, okay.
So he asks, "Who is
Oh my
this?"
God.
Straight to the point. They reply with simply LOL. Gavin asks again, "Who is this?" And they reply, "Open the door." So instead of answering again, Gavin calls the police. The knocking persists for a few minutes, in long intervals. Then it stops for good when the person or people on the other end realize Gavin was onto them. Gavin went on to DM one of Alex's friends who he was hanging out with after he and Omar left. And almost instantly, the friend DM'd him back explaining that he, Alex, and their other friend were jumped by a big group of men in the street. They were all badly injured and went to the hospital. Alex's phone had been stolen, while one of his friend's wallets and phone was stolen. Alex not having a password on his phone meant all of his info and conversations were accessible.
I mean, okay, like that's believable, but like it's like, listen, if y'all don't have a password on your phone, please fucking have a password on your phone. And if you all don't have double authentication or whatever the fuck it is on Google and every one of your accounts, please fucking go do that, because I take cybersecurity and theft seriously.
The police report that Gavin would get
This is
to
a
the police
PSA
came to his house,
by
which later
a
helped
random
Alex
ass
design a service
streamer.
provider to replace
No,
his
but
stolen
seriously
phone.
though, go do that.
The lack of
Double
a password on the
authentication.
phone meant the
Right?
thieves
That's what
were
it's
able
called?
to gain information such as Alex and Gavin's conversation, where they would deduce that Gavin was home alone and an easy target.
Yeah, I think it's called
So
that.
if Gavin didn't catch on to the suspicious
Honestly,
situation,
it's
he
like
may have been
what
opening
I
the
like.
door
I
for
like to
two
say
or
that
more
I get
people
sleep
ready to
drunk.
attack him too and rob his house.
By that I mean
The
like
phone
I'm
number
like
that was being
I
used to
can't think
text
properly when
Gavin
I'm
turned
like
out to be
falling
another
asleep.
stolen phone, therefore didn't help in
Uh-oh.
finding the thief. The
Okay.
case regarding finding
Dang,
the
that
thieves and assaulters
sucks.
remains open.
But they know his address. You know what the scary fucking part is? Those thieves forever know your address. If that was me, I would never ever set a foot into my house at night and be like, "Oh, nothing's gonna happen to me this night." I'd always be paranoid as
Received by an
fuck.
anonymous viewer
Just
from
like,
his dad's ex-girlfriend
what's that
who
noise? You know what I
named
mean?
Kathy for the purpose of this recounting. The viewer will be called
Also,
Rob.
this
The
picture,
reason
whatever
Rob's
this
dad
is,
ended things with Kathy
or
was because of
not
her
a kid.
increasingly erratic and delusional
it's
tendencies.
just-
Her
looks
mental
good.
health was declining for unknown reasons. Rob's dad was dating Kathy for about half a year, and Rob's grandparents both passed away during that time. Rob's dad wasn't very open at first about how Kathy would start acting all paranoid about his son's dead grandparents, about how she believed they placed a curse on her. Rob's dad cut ties with Kathy when the delusions got too ridiculous. Rob was left in the dark for the longest time about Kathy's delusions, though, presumably out of embarrassment for having spent so much time with a supposed nut job. It wasn't long after his father's breakup with Kathy that Rob would receive texts from her himself. When her attempts at reaching his father no longer worked, she clearly went to him instead. Kathy texted Rob, "Hello, sweetie, I need your help." Rob replied with, "What? What's up?" "Your father's parents put a curse on me. I need you to tell me the cemetery and plot number they were buried at." "What do you mean they put a curse on you?" "I keep hearing their voices and having bad premonitions. I know it sounds crazy, but I need it to stop." Of course, being told by somebody that
Yeah.
they were hearing your dead grandparents' voices would
That's-
be a clear indication that the person is completely unhinged. So Rob went to show his dad the texts. His dad laughed and told him to just ignore her. Rob says that instead of blocking her, though, he just let her continue to text him to see how crazy her texts would get. She followed up later that night with, "I need to exhume their grave. If you help me out, I will sleep with you. I know you've always checked me out whenever I was in your dad's house." Rob still didn't answer, and the next day, her text got a little more graphic.
What the fuck?
Rob showed these texts to his dad, and this time his dad was not amused. He called Kathy and screamed that he would be getting a restraining order if she didn't stop. When he hung
Yikes!
up, she kept trying to call until he ended up blocking her number. That same night, while Rob's dad
That is disgusting, dude. At that point, I'd look for help for them. I wouldn't wait for them to go get help. I'd give them help. In the sense of like, you know, like, hey, can you do something? I used to date this person. Can you just help them out? I think they're mentally declining or something like that. You know what I mean?
Rob was still in his den watching.
Hopefully, I used that
he
phrase
heard the
right.
doorknob jiggling. He went
I don't
to
know.
look
There's like
through
a
the
better
glass
way to
atop the
phrase
door
that.
And saw Kathy fiddling with a knife in the key slot
Oh
of
my
the doorknob.
god.
She looked up at him and through the glass and started pleading with him to let her in. Rob called for his dad, and she started to scream no. When his dad came to the door, he screamed at her and then went to call the cops. Kathy would scream back constant obscenities and threats, waving her knife in the air. She didn't leave, and police arrived to her still at the door with knife in hand. Based on her coming to their house with a weapon and not leaving when asked, she was arrested, and Rob's dad filed for a restraining order against her. Clearly, Kathy was more than just delusional and was starting to suffer from some sort of mental illness, such as paranoid disorder. This does not mean she wasn't a danger to others, though, as well as herself, evident by the knife she brought to their house and attempting to break into their house. Luckily, no one was hurt.
Yeah.
An 18-year-old girl
That's a
named
rough
Leanna, living in
ending
Hoboken,
to the
New
story.
Jersey, was at a local bar with
Does
her
you really
friend
want to
on
see them
Saturday.
like
That's when she got a
they
notification
grow?
that someone was
Like
trying
as
to
in
send
like,
her a message on
you want to
Instagram.
see like, oh,
Usually
Kathy
people
got better,
disregard
right?
these
Is that's the type of
They're
ending I
messages
want.
from people you don't follow back on Instagram. In a girl's shoes, those message requests are 9 times out of 10 men sending them flirtatious and often creepy messages.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't ever check these messages. But sometimes when you get that notification that someone sent you a message request, curiosity gets the better of you. In this case, Leanna opened the DM, and it was from some random account with no profile picture and no followers, asking her if she was at McSwiggin's, a local bar in Hoboken. Right away, this is cause for alarm, of course, because this would be coming from someone who knew where she was at that exact moment, someone intentionally using a fake Instagram account. Leanna follows with, yes, who's this? You look good in that pink top. Aren't you 18 though? Shouldn't be in a bar. I won't tell anyone though. Who is this? Just a guy who thinks you're really attractive. By this point, Leanna assumes it's a prank by someone she knows, and asks who's messing with her. The person replies it's neither of the names she just mentioned. Upon Leanna asking for a selfie, the person replies, can't. The girls look around the bar for anybody that could be alone, mainly an older, predatory-looking man. They saw a few men that appeared to be alone sitting at the bar. None of them were eyeing the girls, though. That's when she says, "Okay, bye, we're leaving." Moderately uncomfortable, the two girls leave the crowded bar and start walking. They go to another bar nearby, which is far less crowded than the first. They sit at the bar and order a few drinks, looking for young guys to talk to. When Leanna's phone vibrates again, and she gets another creepy message from the person. It said, "This is my favorite bar, good choice." Leanna shows her friend the message, and then the two start looking around the bar for someone who could be sending the messages. And as if he was looking to be found out, Leanna saw a man sitting on the bar stool closest to the door, looking at her with a blank, wide-eyed expression. She says the best way she could describe his appearance was the killer from the movie The Lovely Bones, mainly because of his glasses, hair, and mustache.
Just so like, hold up. I hate to do this, and like I want to recreate this. Just like that. That's some weird ass fucking expression.
Trying to be creepy, making it
Oh
obvious
my
who he
god.
was. The girls asked the bartender for help.
This is
They
so
showed her the DM
uncomfortable.
She was getting, and then pointed at the man, who, in response to being pointed at, started looking around the room in any direction but towards the girls. The bartender went over and told the guy in a loud, commanding voice to leave the bar without question, threatening to kick his ass if he didn't leave the girls alone. The man left the establishment, surely feeling at least some sense of embarrassment, as anyone would. Leanna and her friends stayed at the bar for about half an hour, only to avoid running into the
and
man
then they're gonna
outside.
get like something
But
back
Leanna says
or like
their
a
mood
text
to stay
message.
out was gone after that creepy encounter, and they just wanted to know who
Okay,
that
good.
was, or how he knew Leanna, and where she was
Like
at
fuck.
that
Usually
moment.
these stories don't end like
When
this.
the girls left, they began walking home. They were on 2nd Street,
Oh
a
my
quiet
God.
one-way road, especially at the hour they were walking. They were being mindful of their surroundings, making sure they weren't being followed. But even when you think you're aware of your surroundings, the unexpected can always happen. Leanna and her friend heard running footsteps from behind them out of the blue. There was no time to react before the man grabs Leanna with one arm around her face and mouth and the other around her waist. He picked her up as she tried to scream and fight, and of course her friend did the screaming for her and continued to hit at the man. The commotion caught the attention of people from around the corner, and a few people came to the scene. The man released his grip from the girl and walked away quickly. Nobody went after the man. The girls called the police there on the spot. Leanna showed the police the DMs, and 2 witnesses backed up their story as well. A police report was made, and a case was opened to find the man in question.
God,
Leanna would
catch
speak
this
to
fucking
detectives at her home
predator.
a few days later, who gathered
my
all the
God.
information she could give. They would later use the surveillance footage from the 2 bars, but the police have not yet been able to match the man seen in the footage to
Oh my
anybody.
God.
As a precaution, she still has her Instagram disabled to this day. If someone is dedicated enough, they can find someone through their Instagram by keeping track of what places they go to in their pictures, what school they go to, and who they associate with.
Yeah.
That's why it often is a good idea to keep your Instagram private.
Definitely. Yeah, I'd recommend to do that. Like everybody to do that. Keep all your social media fucking private. Like, I want to say a tidbit of advice about like Twitter and pictures that you upload, but I'm not gonna say it because I know somebody's gonna use it for sure and do some fucking creepy thing with it. But yeah, 3 disturbing true hostile horror stories. So now, like I said, we're gonna get into like the more like story time things, right? Like stories. These are a fairly bit. Excuse me. These are a bit like long, right? So it's more like a chill out time. What I can do to, I guess, like at the same time, like, because these are more like the content's just kind of like me just sitting there. What I can do is like play games on the Switch along while playing like the video, and then once we're out of videos, we move on to like the basic react because we get to. Oh, I get to talk about this stuff, right? Because these are more like people telling their experiences, and who am I to be like, yeah, your experience is fake or something like that, right? Because like I have no authority to do that. It's like these stories are also darker, and like they're more, I guess, of an experience rather than like oh, I'm gonna react to them, right? It's like that's what the other last 2 videos are for, right? They were react, and these top 20 videos, right? They're just so easy to react to. You just like, oh, the ghost is fake, or oh, look at this fucking thing that's happening, right? Well, these are more like harder to take in. So yeah. Let's do that. Also, I am getting tired, so yeah, there's that. We're gonna do that. So I'm gonna be playing. I'm gonna change the category. Not to Mario Kart. Fuck. What game should I play in the background? We're gonna have both on. Nah, I mean, because it's not just me just chatting anymore. What game do I play? Because we just did Mario Kart, and I don't want to do just like Mario Kart. Let's see what we have here. But yeah, I'll just start the next one. Well, right now I can't say we're doing just chatting, right?
Low-cost, short-term lodging.
Yeah.
Guests share a multi-bed dormitory with a number of other people. Often the beds are in the form of bunk beds, and the rooms are meant to fit as many people as possible so as to create for a cheaper alternative to hotels and Airbnbs. These rooms can be single or mixed gender, and they can have private or shared bathrooms. Hostels are a common go-to for solo travelers who aren't looking to spend a lot of money on a hotel.
Yeah,
or
so
for
we're gonna
people who
lower
only really
the
plan on using
volume.
the place to sleep and not really hang out. The 3 stories you're about to hear were recounted by solo travelers who stayed in hostels and had not so great experiences with the people they were sharing their rooms with.
The thing is, the audio is gonna be mute, so yeah, there's that.
I was for a while talking to this French girl that I matched on some dating
So
app
let's see
after
what
my
we can
breakup.
play.
We were texting for a while, then started calling and FaceTiming each other almost every night. We connected really well, but she came from a strict family who she still lived with. So when the idea of me visiting her came up, she made it clear she wouldn't be able to host me.
Let's
And
play
when I asked
Donkey
if
Kong.
she'd want to share a hotel room together, she said not the first couple nights after we met, just because her parents would have a freak out. So since I was only 23 and my pockets weren't stuffed, I booked a stay at a hostel not far from her in Paris. I downloaded a couple movies to watch on the 7-hour flight since I already knew I wouldn't be able to sleep. I never can on flights. And I was right. I tried sleeping but didn't even get close. So by the time I landed and then Ubered to the hostel, I was running on 0 hours of sleep within the past.
So we're still gonna be
24 hours.
listening to these videos?
Due to the 6-hour time
but
difference,
then we're
it
gonna
was
swap
also
over
like
in
3
like
in
an
the
hour
morning.
or
So
30
at least
minutes
that
or
meant
something
I
like
could
that.
still crash in the bed in the hostel and I wouldn't be jet lagged the next day. I arrived to the hostel, which admittedly wasn't the nicest place ever. It was small. There was a certain odor to the lobby, and the front desk worker wasn't too enthusiastic about his job. But it was 3 a.m. after all, so I had to cut him some slack. I walked to the room I'd be staying in, and there were 6 beds, 5 of them empty, but one had a guy sitting on it. He was on his laptop, typing away at something. He looked up at me, then back down at his laptop. I said, hey.
Yeah, like in an
He didn't
hour we're
respond
coming back to that.
He seemed invested in what he was doing, so I just laid down in one of the empty beds. But the light to the room was still on. I asked him if it was okay that I shut off the light. Then he looked at me with a blank expression but didn't say anything. I repeated what I said, assuming he didn't hear me, and he nodded his head with this weird smile. So I got up and turned off the lights to the room. I passed out pretty quickly due to my lack of sleep, but surprisingly, I woke up a couple hours later. The room was still dark.
But I thought
didn't
hostels
know
were
for
like
sure
where
what woke
prostitution
me up.
happened for a moment. I don't know why.
Rolled over to my side
I don't know why I
and
thought
looked
that.
around the room. It was almost pitch black, but I could see that all the beds were empty. All of them. Where was the other
There
guy
more
that
moves.
was
Oh
there
yeah, there
earlier?
is. There's that.
The 2 bunk beds next to me were empty, top and bottom, but I knew something had to have woken me up. I looked on my phone, and it was 5 in the morning. I needed sleep, so I said screw it. He probably left, and maybe a sound from out in the hall woke me up. I lay back down on my side and closed my eyes. The mild traffic noises from outside was all that I heard. Then the bed shook a bit, and I heard a little crack of the metal frame, accompanied with this freakish breathing sound. I looked up in horror, and on top of me, I saw a
What
head
the
peering over the edge
fuck?
of the top bunk, looking into the bottom bunk at me. I can see the same creepy smile on his face, and his medium to longish black hair was drooping down with gravity below the top of his head as he hung upside down. It was a horrifying
Ew.
sight that words really can't explain. I screamed and fell off the bed as I realized what I was looking at. He sat up in the top bunk and continued looking at me. I screamed, what the F are you doing? As I threw something at
That
him.
would be fucking
He started
creepy.
to laugh this really strange, off-putting laugh. I immediately turned the light on and went through my stuff to make sure nothing
can
was
I, like,
stolen
climb on the
while
trees?
watching him at the same time. I then heard a click of a phone camera and looked at him as he was holding his phone up to
Ew!
me,
What the fuck?
clearly having
Why
just
do you
taken a
take
picture of me.
pictures?
He was still laughing while looking at me. Something was wrong with this man. I didn't know if he had some screws loose mentally, or if he was doing this with bad intentions.
Yeah.
I zipped up my bag and went to the front desk and requested a different room immediately.
Yikes.
One of the single private rooms. After explaining why and trying to get a reduced rate, he wouldn't budge. But he said he'd check on the room with the guest that I was just in. I didn't call the police because I didn't know if any laws were broken, but I sure as hell left a review of the hostel. The rest of my trip there was good. I had a good time with the girl I was seeing, but every time I returned to the hostel, I was scared I'd run into that guy. I don't like how
Can
a
I
picture of me is
swap?
on that
Hold up,
weirdo's
yeah, I can.
phone. I'm not a physical guy, but I wish in that instance, I did get physical.
See, that's what I mean. Cool. Oh my god. No. I'm talking about like the game.
I'm a solo
like-
traveler. I've stayed in countless hostels as a means of saving money,
Jeez.
while also meeting new interesting people. I've stayed in a total of about 20 hostels in my life, and 90% of the time I've had good experiences. My first truly awful experience, though, was at a place called Freedom Traveler Hostel. And before I begin, I want to note that my horrible experience wasn't the complete fault of the hostel itself. The Freedom Traveler Hostel is located in Rome. It was my first time ever visiting Rome. I was completely inexperienced to the landscape and relied heavily on Google Maps and locals. In fact,
So he's
even
in
finding the hostel
Italy.
itself proved challenging as there were no signs for the place outside. But once I found the place, I let myself in through the big brown doors and was greeted by a nice woman working the front counter. I had already booked a stay in one of the 4-person rooms.
Oh, wow, this double
I
looks
was led to
beautiful.
the room I'd be staying in, which had 1 bunk bed and 2 single beds, totaling sleeping space for 4 people. The room had a green theme to it, but it wasn't the biggest room.
Mhm.
The worker told me there weren't many people staying in the hostel at the moment, which I didn't really have a problem with if it would mean I would have more privacy in the room.
Yeah.
The woman had a smile on her face the entire time, and I appreciated her help. She showed me where I could store my luggage, which was actually just some shed in the back garden area. I wasn't impressed nor confident with it, so I decided I'd leave my luggage in the room, especially since I didn't bring anything too valuable.
Oh, well, nice. You
I
can
was
store
exhausted
this.
after a whole day of traveling, so after changing clothes and stowing my luggage under the bottom bunk bed, I laid down ready to take a quick power nap. Not long after, I heard a knock at the door, and two young men walked in. They had thick Italian accents, I could tell right away. They greeted me and started talking to me, even though I was mid-nap, but I'm polite and social, so I was friendly and chatted with them. They introduced themselves as Marco and Lucio, brothers.
Marco and Lucio.
Marco
oh my
had to
God.
be like 6'4", he was huge. Lucio was probably 5'11", but he wasn't a toothpick either.
Why is
I
he
could see
saying
the
probably? Is
resemblance
he
in
like
their
asleep?
faces. They were very tan, but both had receding hairlines, even though I could tell they were in their early 20s. They weren't the friendliest looking guys, but
Dang.
at first they seemed okay enough. After getting acquainted
Okay.
in English with them, the two brothers started to talk amongst themselves in Italian. They didn't know that I understood though, because right away I understood them to be talking about me and laughing
Mhm.
at me. I heard, I believe, Marco describing me as some silly white boy. I could have said something right there in Italian, but instead I wanted to keep the illusion that I didn't speak the language. The two brothers eventually got up from their beds and left the room.
Dude, if
with
I was
Lucio
them,
smiling and waving
I'd
at me
just
as
start
they left.
speaking in Spanish. I'd be like, oh, creen que yo soy blanco or something. I don't know. I'd be like that. Or some fucking bullshit like, oh, you think I'm
I
Hispanic or
just realized
something?
they didn't have their luggage in the room.
I
It
can
led me to
understand
believe
you
they
'cause I
left
know
their luggage in the
Spanish.
storage shed in the garden
Start saying
area.
something stupid like that.
I went
Or
to the
like
garden area
tease
for
them
a
in
bit
my
just to mingle
language
with some of the people
that I
sitting out
know.
there, and I met a few nice
Right?
tourists who were also staying there for the weekend. Then off I went to explore the city, heading in the direction of city center.
Be like, gente sin
After many hours
vergüenza.
and 2 food stops later, I returned to the hostel, expecting some people to be socializing in the lounge area or in the back garden, but there was no one. So I
Nice, I got
figured
on
I'd
there.
just get some early shut-eye. It was 9 p.m. anyway. I don't remember when I
Oh,
fell
fuck.
asleep, but I remember waking up.
That's
The
a
lights in
L.
the room were still off, but I heard whispering voices. The brothers were back.
Okay.
I didn't move. I listened to what they were saying, still speaking in Italian.
Mhm.
One of them whispered something that roughly translated to, just grab it, or are you gonna do it? I didn't know what it
What the
meant,
heck?
but I had a feeling they were talking about
Yeah,
my
they're gonna
luggage.
rob him.
I was waiting to hear the sound of my luggage being moved before I would let them know I was awake, but instead, I felt a sweet-smelling, cold and wet cloth being pressed up to my face.
Holy
and I reacted
shit.
by yelling and swatting it off my face. I turned to see one of the brothers standing over me. I screamed, "What are you doing?" The man over me, I couldn't tell which one it was, then got on the lower bed with me and tried to subdue me, but I kicked
What
him
the
off and screamed for help.
fuck?
The other brother pulled
That's
him away
scary.
from me, and the two men took off out of the room. I quickly grabbed my bag and shoes and went to the front desk for help. The man who was working now said he saw the two guys leave, but there was no information on them even staying there. They were
Uh-oh.
two random locals who were trying to rob visitors to the hostel. They tried to literally chloroform me. I didn't stay there after that.
Jesus!
I'm sure they've upped their security now, but when I stayed there, clearly anybody could have just walked right in. If
Uh-huh.
I wasn't awake, I would have been chloroformed and robbed of my entire bag. After this, I started being more careful of the hostels I stay at.
Mhm. Jeez.
I once went to Miami Beach by myself for the Art Basel, and to just escape the cold.
I
My
suck
friend
at
Mia
this
would be
game.
there with her boyfriend, and I'd meet up with them, but I wasn't staying with them. Hotels and
So
Airbnbs
I got like
in Miami
8 more
aren't cheap,
stories
though,
after this.
especially if you're flying solo. So I went with this hostel called Bikini Hostel. It's like in the heart of Miami Beach, and it was pretty crowded. Even the check-in lobby had some people in it. It had a younger vibe, mostly people in their 20s. Some people seemed to be there in groups, others
Dude,
solo
like,
like me.
eyes, like,
I didn't spend
twitching.
too much time in the hostel, though. It was only meant as a place to sleep for me. The place had lockers
Oh,
that you could put your
shit.
bags in, so I was able
Oh
to
no,
be gone the entire day with
DK!
peace of mind.
What's
it wasn't
going
until that first
on?
night that I returned and met some of the people in the room with me.
I'm
I was
bad
in a
at
mixed dorm,
platforming games,
meaning
dude.
both male and females. though I was actually the only female.
Also, why is it like TNT?
I wasn't necessarily uncomfortable with that. I wasn't really there for the people, more so just the money saved. I met about 3 of the however many people were actually staying in the room. The next morning, I woke up, and first thing I did was look for my phone, which I thought I left on the bed.
I can't run it?
I looked all over the bed and then under it. Someone in the room had to have taken it. I started asking everybody if anybody had it. I asked the guy in the bed next to me to call my number and see if we could hear it ring, but no one could. I started to question if maybe I didn't bring it back to the room after all. I borrowed the same guy's phone to call my friend Mia and tell her I lost my phone and to meet me at the brunch place we wanted to hit. I checked the entire room one last time, then checked with the front desk and asked them to call Mia's number if anyone should turn my phone in. Then I left to meet Mia at this place on Collins Avenue
it's
to
getting
get
me like
brunch with
annoyed
her and
that
her
this isn't
boyfriend.
centered.
While there, I used Mia's phone to sign into iCloud to check Find My iPhone. It said the last known location was at the hostel 2 hours ago. That gave me some form of relief, because maybe I left it in my bag or the locker.
Now I look like extra sleepy.
We went back to the hostel together and looked everywhere in the room, including the locker and my bag. It didn't turn up, and this made absolutely no sense. But I wasn't going to let it ruin my trip. We walked to the convention center, which was where the Art Basel was being held. After leaving hours later, we grabbed a late lunch, or early dinner, and hit a couple bars afterwards. At some point, I checked Find My iPhone on Mia's phone again, and this time it said my phone had moved. It was basically right on top of us. Mia and her boyfriend joked about me being sure I don't have it on me. I told them I absolutely do not. I looked around.
That's happened to me though before. Like, oh fuck, it's in my pocket.
I put my phone into lost mode.
That's it when I lost my glasses like 2 days ago. I was like, oh shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, where's my...
Some people left, that's for sure. We tried calling my phone a bunch of times.
That's it when I lost my fucking glasses. I was like, what's going on? Are they not on me?
Change clothes. As I was walking,
I was like, so sure they were on me.
To accept that maybe my phone wasn't going to be returned to me. My entire walk back, I felt like this weird-looking guy was following me. He took every single same turn I took. I don't think he noticed that I noticed, but I was very suspicious he was following me. When I got back to the room, I went on my laptop before getting changed to check Find My iPhone again, and now the location was back in the hostel. I was excited because I thought maybe they were returning it. I checked the front desk, though, and nothing. I asked a bunch of people in the hostel, too. No one had it. Or at least they weren't admitting to it. So I went to Instagram on my laptop and started DMing Mia to keep her updated on when I'd be ready to meet them out. I went to take a quick shower, then changed into more going out appropriate attire. When I came out from the bathroom and back into the room, I was shocked to see that man that I thought was following me was sitting in one of the beds on his phone. There were 2 other guys in the room with us at that moment, but I had a scary thought, so I hurried to DM Mia to call my phone right now. She said okay, and then I heard the sound of a phone vibrating in a pocket or on a bed.
Oh shit, that's
I looked up at the guy, who suspiciously looked back at me.
I was like, wait, what the fuck? I'm like, oh!
Everything. I started yelling, "Give me my phone," exclaiming, "I got you," to him. The other 2 guys in the room helped me, and demanded the guy empty his pockets and give me my phone. He listened, and took out a phone. Sure enough, my phone. I snatched it from his hand and told the other 2 guys that he had been following me all day and was purposely avoiding returning my phone, which he probably took while I was asleep. The guy got up and hurried out of the building with his backpack, never returning. I made friends with the 2 guys who helped me. Their names were Mark and Paulo. I had them come out with me to meet up with Mia. I'm grateful they were there, because I wonder how things would have played out differently if they weren't. I also recommend keeping your phone and valuables in a very safe place if you ever stay in a hostel. And just generally be aware of the people around you.
That's definitely something to keep in mind if I ever decide to do that in the future. Where am I? Hold up. Oh yeah, good. I fucking clicked on the right one. Yeah, so this is Lazy Masquerade, 8 scary true stories from around the internet. Let's like that video. Next up, in like 30 minutes, we're gonna watch a 26-minute video.
Raycon have been shaking up the electronics industry recently by designing
So,
wireless
yeah.
earbuds that start at about half the price of any other
I'll
premium
just let
products
him
on
do
the
the sponsor
market,
because,
and
like,
sound just
honestly,
as amazing as any
like,
other top audio brands.
obviously it's not my video, right?
They've become the obsession of celebrities from Snoop Dogg
Even
to
though I am
Melissa
streaming.
Etheridge. And it's
What I mean
easy
is
to
like,
see why.
you know, like obviously
Raycon
I'm like
earbuds give you 6
stealing
hours
their
of playtime,
content or wait.
seamless Bluetooth pairing,
How do I phrase it?
more
I'm like
buttons,
half
and a
asleep
more compact
at this
design for a
point.
comfortable noise
This is
isolation,
why also I didn't want to
which
stream
makes
like
them
yesterday,
perfect
like
for both work
3 a.m. again. Like not again,
Their
but like
wireless earbuds come in a range of
because it
fun
was like
colours
the
and
first
patterns,
day I was
with a
back
variety
from
of
like
foot options and no
not
dangling
streaming
wires
for
or
like a
stems.
while,
So
right?
it's really a pair
Oh,
for
these
everybody.
guys don't die.
If you're trying
That's
to take a
their-
break from
that's
screens
their whole theme.
but don't want to feel totally unplugged, Raycon wireless earbuds are the best way to bring your content with you wherever you go. Recently, I've been using my pair to either listen to the news or the latest episodes of my favorite podcasts whenever I go out jogging. That way, I can stay up to date without keeping my eyes glued to a screen.
I don't know.
Raycon's wireless earbuds
Like
have
when
that
it comes
great
to like
sound quality
paranormal stuff,
that keeps
I don't
me
know how a
engaged with whatever I'm
paranormal
working out
fucking
to.
podcast
And sometimes
works.
I get so immersed, I forget
Other
I'm
than
not sweating
just,
it at all.
because like I'd imagine it like for example a paranormal
Raycon has a
podcast,
spine-chilling discount available
for
for all of my
example, to be
viewers.
like
So if you're
a
looking for a way
bunch
to
of
support the channel
hearsay
while also getting a pair of quality earbuds, just click the link in the description box.
or like
go
a
to
scary stories one,
buyraycon.com
right?
/masquerade to get 15% off your Raycon
Fuck.
purchase.
Why does Donkey
With
Kong feel
Raycon's
so
45-day
stiff?
free return policy, you've really got nothing to lose. So again, that's
Dang.
buyraycon.com /masquerade, or simply click
So,
the link in the
I
description
wouldn't
box
say
below
Diddy Kong's like
and
the
be a part
best
of the next
Donkey
wave
Kong.
of premium
Donkey
wireless audio.
The best Kong member of the family? I don't know. Yeah, I definitely want to beat Diddy Kong. At least with this first game, because I know like in the second game. No, it's
When I
yeah,
was
yeah.
a
The
kid,
second game they
something
introduced Diddy Kong,
terrifying
right?
and blood-boiling happened when my dad was out shopping with
There we
me.
go.
I of course don't have any memory of the event, but I found out about it when I got older. My dad was out at a supermarket picking out some groceries, carrying me around as he went through the aisles.
Oh,
He bought a
fuck.
few small items and walked out to the parking lot, plastic bag in one hand, me in the other. As he was halfway to our car, he noticed a woman with curly red hair get out of a nearby vehicle. She started power walking up to my dad, not in his general direction.
Oh my gosh, I remember
mean,
like
right towards
a year
him
ago I said I was
specifically.
gonna watch Lo que la gente cuenta.
He'd never seen this woman in his life,
Like
but from her expression,
it's a TV
he knew
show?
something was up.
I
brows
forget
raised,
if it was on
her jaw
Univision
clenched, as if she was hyper-focused
or
and pumped up with
Telemundo.
adrenaline.
But yeah,
My
it's
dad
like
stopped dead
a
in his tracks as she got close.
I don't know. I
realizing
just
that
like
she was
it's like
coming
a
to say
show
something
from
to
like Latino America,
but she
So-
didn't
or
say
like
anything.
Mexico or around there. I don't know.
As soon as she got up
Around
close to my
there.
father,
Latino America
she
is like a
snatched me right out of
it's
his
like a
hands.
general like South America, right?
My dad
Pretty much.
immediately tried to take me back, but the woman started
Including, like,
screaming that he was a kidnapper.
Would it be Mexico?
She was shouting so loudly
English?
that everyone else in the parking lot turned
Central
to see what was
America
going
as
on.
well, including Mexico.
They all came running over to restrain my dad and help the woman.
Right, but like I'm pretty
all
sure because
just
like this one has like a
instinctively
bunch of like
believed
Mexican like myths.
She
It
started
is
hurrying
Mexican.
back to her vehicle with
It's
me
like a
in her
Mexican
arms.
show.
I thank my lucky stars that my dad
Fuck.
wasn't
One
alone
day I
during
do
that
gotta
trip the
react to
store.
that though, because like
In our car,
to some
across the
extent I
road
feel like I
was
wouldn't
my
get like
mother.
copyright struck because like
She'd just heard
their
all the
licenses
commotion and
probably
saw what
wouldn't
was
work
happening.
here. But then
In the
again,
blink of an
if
eye,
it
she
they
was out of
do
our
have
car
Univision
and
and
right up in the
Televis,
woman's face.
Telemundo
Instinct
here.
took over her, and she said
Where
she
are they?
doesn't remember crossing
So
the
who
lot
knows?
to get to me. But somehow, on autopilot, she wrestled me away from the woman. Realizing she wasn't going to get away
Because
with
like,
me,
then
the
there's
woman
that thing
jumped
too.
inside
Like
her vehicle
for example,
and
if I
sped
were
out
to
of the
watch anime on stream, would
My mum
Toei
cleared things up with all of
like
the other shoppers holding down my
fucking
dad, who were
copyright
all
strike
extremely
me?
shocked and remorseful. But it just goes to show that things aren't always as they seem.
Oh shit!
This was all the
Oh,
way
dude,
back
I'm
in
so
the 70s,
bad.
and security cameras weren't what they
This
are
game's
nowadays.
not my cup of tea.
Nobody got the woman's license plate, and to my parents' knowledge,
Yeah.
she was never found. The scariest part
Fuck.
is that according to my dad, from the way she acted, the confidence she exhibited, and the speed in which everything went down, it was clear to him that she had done this before. There is pure evil in this world, folks. Remember that.
What was the
even when
story?
you're out doing something as
'Cause I was so busy telling my
innocent.
whatever I was talking about with Telemundo and Univision.
My buddy had just moved to a new area, and he was having some trouble sleeping. It was a pretty
Dang.
isolated little suburb, and being used to city life and all the light pollution that came with it, the super dark nights in this new place didn't sit too well with him. One night, he was lying in bed, trying his best to fall asleep.
That's
when
like
he
the
heard a
first
knocking
time
on
I
his
actually
front
hear
door.
about light pollution.
This was around midnight,
being
so
like
that freaked him out a bit, to say the
a
least.
factor in this story.
He tiptoed downstairs and honed his ears.
Oh fuck! Isn't this like the? How did I not find this the first time?
Whoever was on the other side
What
of
the
his
fuck
front
is
door
that?
was making a weird, wheezing noise.
Yeah. Oh.
He didn't have a peephole or anything. So
The
he pulled the
guy's
chain
so
up
pissed.
and opened the door up,
Like,
thinking
fuck.
somebody outside might need some help. At the door was a
Can I do it
humanoid
again?
figure
Aw.
with blood all over its deformed face, like some zombie or monster.
What the fuck?
It groaned at him, so he slammed the door, twisted every lock, and immediately called the police.
It's just so nice.
The dispatcher told him that they'd received several other calls from that same street, all reporting the same bloody-faced monster standing at their doors. They were on their way.
Okay. Oh fuck.
This had to be some kind of hoax, right? Well,
The zombies are
turns out
real,
that his
folks.
experience
Imagine this story.
was far from some fever dream or prank. That night, one of the other residents on the street had decided to end it all and placed a shotgun under his jaw. The blast didn't kill him, but it obliterated his lower jaw, which was completely missing from his face.
Oh.
The guy then went door to door, trying to ask everybody for help, but his face and groans only terrified the other locals.
Damn, that's so sad.
Sad to say, the guy didn't make it. When I was a kid, I went to a friend's house for a sleepover. It was an extremely hot day in the middle of the summer break, 2001. My friends and I were around 12 or so at
So
the
this
time,
song that
and we'd all
these
been eagerly waiting this night.
type of YouTube channels use,
There
this
were
one,
four of us
this
staying
track
over in
specifically is always so
A pretty
beautiful.
nice-sized event.
It's like
We watched movies,
I don't know.
ate
It's like,
inordinate amounts of junk food, played
like
N64
weird.
games, the works.
but because I like watched these channels when I was
At
younger,
around 11 p.m., my friend's parents
usually
told
they
us it
would
was
put
time
on
for
this
a chat.
track for like
But of
fairy
course,
stories.
we all
And
secretly
the
stayed
fairy
up
stories
longer,
are stories you
keeping
don't
our
hear.
voices
At
loud,
least
and the
they
sound
don't
on
talk
the
about
TV
that much
muted.
anymore. Like
We were
fairy
playing the original
infestations and
Super
stuff
Smash
like
Bros.,
that.
and the four of
The
us were
scary
having a tournament.
stories.
We agreed that whoever won the tournament could
Now
sleep
they're
in
all
my
more
friend's
varied,
bed,
or rather
while the
like
rest of us had to sleep in
they'll have
sleeping
like
bags on
more
the floor.
depth to them.
Catch was, whoever came in last had
Other
to
than
sleep
like,
in the
oh,
creepy
fairies
spare bedroom
exist, or
on the
like
first
zombies.
floor, all by themselves.
Obviously, the zombie ones always tick
For
me off
us,
because
the stakes
zombies don't
were high.
exist.
That spare bedroom was on the other side of the house, down this horrible, pitch black hallway.
Oh,
It had
fuck.
this eerie vibe to it, a sort of ghostly vibe. The stereotypical haunted room that terrifies a young mind. There was even a family rumor that one of the previous tenants had died in that room. Chilling stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Not wanting to lose the tournament, I picked the character.
What
I was
is getting
testing,
in 3 dino,
Captain Falcon.
Rhino
We drew lots
statues,
to see
golden
who'd
ones.
face off against who,
Dude.
and it all culminated in a free-for-all match that was worth extra points. Luckily for me,
Oh,
I was
fuck.
able to falcon kick and punch my way
See,
to
I remember watching a Let's Play by Nintendo
Our friend
Capri
Jamie
Sun.
came in last.
Oh god, this was like ages ago. I was like, what, like
He now had to make the
14?
walk down the dark hallway
15 or
and
something?
sleep in the supposed
I'm like
haunted
20 now. That was like 5 years ago.
He begged us not to make him go.
It was funny as
We were
fuck.
young boys. We all told
And I
him
think
that a
like
deal's
around
a deal,
Donkey Kong
and
Country
that if
2, he
didn't
started
go,
saying like
he'd
shite.
never live it down.
It's fucking funny.
He reluctantly scooped up his
Fuck!
sleeping bag, quietly snuck out of
Gotta
my
get the
friend's
K.
bedroom,
All I know is like if you get all the Donkey Kong letters,
until he got to
you
the
unlock
spare
like the
bedroom
not the actual final boss, but like you
He
unlock like
slowly
something good.
twisted the handle,
Or like extra
and
levels or
closed
something.
the door behind him. That's the last any of us ever saw of Jamie. The next morning, when we went to check on him, we found the room completely empty.
Oh my god.
The window wide open. We told the adults that Jamie was gone, and they in turn called the police. According to them, the most likely scenario was that because it was a hot night, Jamie opened the window before going to sleep. At some point after that, someone
That's
came in through
sad.
the open window and took him. Nobody else heard a thing, and none of the other neighbors saw anything either. To
That
this
is
day, we
really
don't know what
sad.
happened to Jamie, and I'm still waiting for updates. Looking back,
I'm
I
so
of
bad at
course
this.
wish we hadn't made him go. I wish we'd made a different forfeit. We were young. It was an innocent dare, and there's no way any of us could have foreseen what was going to happen. But still, I can't help but feel in some way responsible. I think about Jamie often, even to this day. He was a good kid, a good friend, and didn't deserve whatever happened to him.
That is horrifying. Just I'd assume he got, or I assume he got kidnapped. But
I
like,
was traveling around
fuck.
Australia during my gap year at the time.
Sad.
It had always been a dream of mine to rent a camper van and drive the length and breadth of Gold Coast Road, then head on down to Melbourne and back up to Adelaide. I was by myself, trying to fulfill that dream, and in spite of traveling solo, I never felt lonely. That's because
You know,
I met a lot
I
of fun people along
genuinely.
the way. Each day was an adventure, and each night
It's like
was
when
a
I
new
was
party,
younger, my
new
friends
faces.
and I,
Simple
our
serving
biggest
friends,
fears
as they
was
said
like
in Fight
getting
Club.
kidnapped, right?
House for one evening, and then
And
you
for
never see
having
them
that
again.
fear, you
But
would
of
think
all
we'd be
people I
like
met on the
paranoid
trip,
as fuck
two
about it.
stick out like a sore
But like
thumb.
nothing like obviously happened, right? We're like, oh,
It
we
was
got
during one of
kidnapped
my
or
final
something
nights
like
in the
that.
country. I was close
But
to
what
Adelaide
was
at
I gonna
this point,
say?
and had just met a couple of guys called Dave.
If at all, it
and
kind of
Jacko.
helped us out.
They seemed like fun
like
people,
see how
friendly
like
and up for a
creepy
good
people
time.
when we were younger, right?
I spent the evening with them,
Fuck,
drinking a few
like-
brews under the stars.
Like I just cannot
As the
imagine
evening drew to a close, I wished them both
how
well, and said,
horrifying
"If
it
we
must
didn't
be
meet
to
again,
know
I
that
hope
somebody
they'd both
close
have
to
nice
you
lives."
got fucking kidnapped or just disappeared.
Since I was living out of my camper
Like,
van
that's
to save money,
horrible.
I was sleeping in there too, so I hopped inside my vehicle.
Like
a little dizzy from the night's beverages, and fell asleep in the
somebody
back
just
almost
disappeared. I guess like the closest thing is like, you know,
I woke
having
up
like a
in the
family
middle of
member
the
near
night
you
to
die, and
run,
I've had that
the
happen.
sound of tires on dirt. My
But
van's
like,
engine
you know,
was
somebody
roaring.
getting kidnapped is like kind of like a different
Whilst I was sleeping
situation.
in the back,
Because it's
someone
almost like
got their hands on
they're
the
still
keys
alive
and were now
somewhere,
driving my vehicle
hopefully.
to God knows
If
where,
not,
with me still in the back.
who knows what happened to them?
I started shouting, "Hey, stop!" But all I heard in reply
Well,
was laughter and hollering.
'cause, like, see, that's the good part in me.
It was a sound I
And
heard
obviously,
when I'd made Jacko
I
laugh.
just want to see like the good, like the
Now I knew
best
who was
scenario
driving me.
happen, right?
Question was, where was Jacko taking
Like,
me?
God, it's sad.
Looking out the
It's
window,
sad. It's
I could
always a
see
sad
that there was another
situation.
car following ours.
Fuck.
Behind the wheel was the other guy, Dave. What were these guys up to? I didn't want to find out, so I took out my phone to call for help. No signal.
Oh,
That's
fuck.
because we were long gone from civilization by that point. We were in the outback. Because of
Yeah.
the partition between the front and rear of the van, I couldn't see or get to Jacko. I couldn't jump out of the back of the van either, given the speed at which we were moving, the fact that Dave was
Oh
right
my
behind
God.
us, and the fact that we were in the middle of nowhere. So I
I'm
tried
like the
reasoning
worst
with
at
Jacko,
platforming games.
shouting for him to pull over. He ignored me. I don't know how long I was in the back for before I woke up. How long this madman had been driving me.
You'd be like, oh,
But
this guy's
eventually,
bad at games
we
in
came to a
general,
stop.
but like the truth is, I'm like good at shooter games.
Looking out the window, all I could see was
I'm just kidding.
desolation.
No, that's a
Nothing but
fucking joke.
mountains in
I'm
any
bad at them
direction.
too. I'm like
The real Australian
I'm way too good at RPG
Jacko
games.
jumped out of the vehicle and hopped into Dave's car. The pair of them circled my van, kicking
Fuck,
up
you can't
dust
do
all
anything
around.
there.
I could hear them laughing and taunting me, saying things
Oh, I
like,
thought it was a
"Yeah, mate,
hole.
have a nice life," as they drove off back the way that they had come and disappeared from my view. It's infamously perilous to travel into the outback. Without shade or supplies, most
Mhm.
people don't last a day. The sun was rising, and it was set to be a scorching day. I was dehydrated from the night before, and there was only one small bottle of water in the back of the van.
Dude, I
The van
need to
itself
drink
was
water.
almost out of gas.
I don't know what I would do without water.
I had no funds.
Literally, if I don't drink water,
If
my
I couldn't
throat
get a
dries
hold
up
of
in like
anyone, I was
less than an hour. I'm just kidding. No.
I had two choices.
Let me give a
Sit in
damn
my
thing. So like,
vehicle,
say like I
make use
don't
of
drink
the
water
weak
for like a
air
day.
conditioning while I could,
I wake up with like a
hop
dry
out and
throat.
walk in a random
Like
direction
I could only
hopes of
imagine
finding
if I was like
look who knew
truly
how far away that might
dehydrated.
be.
Like
In the
fuck, that
end,
must be
I chose
horrible.
the former.
Wait, come on, Donkey
I
Kong.
was stuck
fucking
out there
Do you slam
for
attack?
20 hours before a helicopter overhead
What?
just so
Wait,
happened
wait,
to
what
spot
happened
my
to the
van,
wheel?
stranded in the middle of the outback.
What?
I was unconscious when the rescuers found me. I was later told how lucky I was. Drinking my water quickly instead of sipping it, not exerting myself, and
Mhm.
making use of the AC are what likely saved me.
Drinking the water
that took pure
quickly.
luck. After leaving the hospital,
I
I
wonder
was
what
on
that
the next
is.
flight home,
I actually
but
don't
make
know.
sure to give a full and detailed description of the two blokes that did this to me. Even so, to my knowledge, Jacko and Dave were never found. I often wonder if they ever did this to anyone else. Doesn't seem like the kind of thing you'd just do once. The way they were laughing and taunting me, it was clear they had a taste for it. Whenever I read about people losing their lives in the outback, I think back to that encounter and wonder if Dave and Jacko had something to do with it.
Interesting story.
I think it's safe to say that my girlfriend and I experienced a sort of glitch in the Matrix.
Oh my god, these stories
A
are
decade
always
ago,
so...
a good friend of mine went missing. His name was Tom. The guy had racked up some debt and ended up
Like I
getting
said,
into cahoots with some bad
I need
people.
to come with these,
But
come into these
I knew
stories
he
with like
was
an
a solid
open
guy with a good heart.
attitude, right?
For about a week,
So
nobody
I
had
guess
any
some
idea
of these
what
people,
Tom
these stories are like way too
He had
real.
no cell phone or any means of contact, so there was a little I could do to help search for him.
Okay.
Sadly, his story didn't have a happy ending. Tom was found face down in the harbour on a gloomy Saturday morning. He'd been beaten to a pulp, had numerous broken bones, and had been finished off with a hammer to the side of the head.
Sucks.
Rope burns around his wrists suggested that he had been tied up beforehand. Since he didn't have any family, I was called in to identify him, and sure enough, there on the slab was my old pal Tom. Even with all the injuries and bloating, I knew it was him, no question about it. And this was a big event in our town. Newspapers published pieces about it, the locals all talked about the guy who washed up in the harbour, what a tragedy it was, etc. For the next 3 days, Tom was the only thing on anyone's lips. Then, on the 4th day, we read the most unexpected piece of news in the local newspaper. Tom had been caught on CCTV, alive and well in a different city.
What the
Detectives
heck?
were still on the hunt for my missing friend. I was as shocked as I was dumbfounded. I'd seen Tom dead with my own 2 eyes. Could I have made a mistake in identifying him? Then again, what were the odds of a guy who looked identical to Tom just happening to wash up in the town he was from 1 week after he had disappeared? Another strange detail was that nowhere in the paper did it mention a body being fished out the harbour. It wasn't even something they glossed over. Why wouldn't they have mentioned such a relevant and timely piece of information like that? I went down to the local police station to see what was going on, and asked to chat with the detectives who were working the case personally, the ones who had previously asked me to come and ID Tom's remains. My head was spinning with questions. Was this sighting on CCTV legit? Was the man they found in the harbour really not Tom after all? Their reaction was chilling. They looked at me like I was crazy. What body? They asked me with total seriousness. What are you talking about, son? Even though this was the middle of July, I thought this must be some sort of bizarre April Fool's joke at first.
Okay.
I went over all the details of the previous few days, but they just looked at me perplexed. I even started to question whether I was the crazy one. Were they playing dumb? Was this some sort of cover-up?
Okay.
Or pretending not to know what I was talking about? I called up my girlfriend and told her about the investigators' reactions. She was as confused as I was. Together, we looked through the previous few days' newspapers. Nowhere was there any mention of Tom's body being found in the harbour, or anyone else's for that matter.
That is
We'd definitely read
interesting.
that before, but for some reason, those articles were now missing. We asked around town, and nobody had heard about Tom in the water, despite it having been the hot topic for the past 3 days. They all agreed that this Tom fella was still missing, and that there was some new video footage that might help find him, but that was all. Even the people I'd previously talked to about Tom's death now seemingly knew nothing about it, even the ones who had seen him pulled from the water with their own eyes. Had my girlfriend not remembered Tom in the harbour as well, then I'd definitely think that my brain was playing tricks on me.
Okay.
But that's
But
the
it could
thing.
be like a recall
She does
fact.
remember. She remembers everything. The
Like an
newspaper
incorrect
stories,
recall of facts.
the detectives asking me to ID Tom, the gossip about his demise around town. Her version of events are the exact same as mine, but for some reason, we're the only 2 who remember any of this. Everyone else thinks that Tom is still out there somewhere, missing but alive. So, either my girlfriend and I both lived in the same sort of dreamlike reality for a few days, or the whole town is dead set on making us believe nothing happened and are covering up the body in the harbour. And to be honest, I don't know which of those 2 possibilities scares me more.
It's an intriguing story, but I don't know.
I was out hiking by myself in the middle of nowhere a few years back, soaking up some nature on my day off from work. No one else around for miles. I knew the area well, so I decided to take a little detour from the main trail.
This sign
and go
reminds me of
deeper
the
into
Mario
surrounding
signs.
woodland. I get pretty far in when I suddenly hear this deep, hearty laughter coming from somewhere within the woods. Some fellow hikers, I thought. Unusual, since I'd hiked this area many times and never encountered anyone else before. The laughter continued, and given how friendly and warm it sounded, I followed it, curious about who was out there.
Don't
and what they
fucking
were laughing at.
follow laughter!
I walked towards the cackling for a solid couple of minutes.
Who the
and all
fuck
while,
does
the laughter
that?
persisted.
Dude, if it was, even if it was, for example, if it was like Christmas time, and I hear
whoever
ho
was
ho
laughing
ho,
barely paused
I
for
ain't
breath
fucking
and
getting
laughed.
out of my house.
Must be a really
Like,
funny
what the
joke.
fuck?
As I rounded a corner into a clearing,
This story sounds like it's like
face to
mocking
face with the
the
laughter.
saddest story.
It wasn't a group of people at all.
Oh my god.
It was one man, sat on a log, all by himself. He was so dirty and disheveled, it looked like he'd been sat on that log for years. I looked around to see what was so hilarious. Perched on other logs, in a semicircle in front of the man, were several lifeless deer, made to sit upright like humans.
Oh,
They were
he's
all in
This
various
guy's
stages of
twisted.
decomposition, some much more fresh than others, meaning that the more rotten ones have been there for quite some time.
Yeah.
It was like some mad hunter's tea party, and he'd clearly put a lot of effort into making them sit up. I began to back up, hoping to
Let
leave
me close
before
my
this guy
rest
saw
from
me.
the store because
As I
it's getting
stepped backwards, I broke
cold.
a tree branch underfoot, and when he heard a snap, the man abruptly fell silent. His head instantly turned to look right at me, his body unmoving, his face neutral, his eyes wide and crazed. He stared at me the way a hungry apex predator stares at its prey. We maintained eye contact for a few seconds. Then I tried to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I stopped abruptly when I saw him reach for something. A hunting rifle. I hadn't noticed it resting against the log until the guy went to grab it. As soon as that registered, I turned and bolted. A couple of shots rang out behind me, followed by the cawing of birds, but I didn't stop to see whether they were aimed at me or whether they were just warning shots.
3
I'm
hours?
not sure if the guy pursued me, but if he did, I was clearly faster, as I made it back to the trail and away from him. I sprinted for as long as I
we're only
could,
like
till my
4
heart felt
hours
like
at
it was
this
going to
point, 'cause
explode.
there's like a moment where like this stream
Finally,
just
I made it
reset.
back to civilization. A couple of patrolmen were sent to look for the guy, but didn't find him anywhere.
Man, I want to fall
They
asleep.
didn't come across any deer either. To this day, I have no idea what I walked into, but I learned a couple of valuable lessons. Never go hiking in the middle of nowhere by yourself.
Yeah.
And don't follow the sound of demented laughter, no matter how curious you are. This happened to my uncle and my dad back in 1998, and they regularly tell it at Thanksgiving. My uncle sold insurance at the time, and rented an office in a building that was run primarily by a larger company. He loved the location because it was walking distance, and he could get to it from his house by cutting across this park. He'd often let
About,
himself
I
in
just
through
want to
the back
apologize to the people that come across me.
There were some weird stories
Don't think
about
they come
the
off
place
as
being
strong.
haunted
I'm
by
sorry
the
about
previous
that.
owner of the property.
Just saying.
But my uncle
like
hardly
randomly.
believed a 10-year-old office building was spook central.
Like, I don't know.
This story takes place the day after
No,
Thanksgiving.
yeah, correct. Way too well.
All the tenants of the office building were
All
off between
times.
the holiday and the weekend.
I'm just
including
on
my
about
uncle.
something, ranting
He
and
was
stuff.
relaxing at home, waiting for my dad, who was supposed to come over and work on some project. In the beginning, it was a totally normal morning. The phone rang, a landline because it was the late 90s, and my uncle answered it. He was confused when he picked it up, as it was his own voice on the other end. It took him a moment
It's a
to recognize
doppelganger
it
story?
as a recording he had on his answering machine.
Oh, shit.
He said he was instantly confused, as that wasn't how the machine worked. It played the message when the phone rang for incoming calls, like a mechanical voicemail message. He was still on the line when it beeped, like a cue to leave a message. Instead, my uncle heard someone yelling in Spanish on the other end, a good distance from the phone. He doesn't speak Spanish, but he knew enough to know that they were calling for help and were in obvious distress. He He
It's an
tried to yell
extortion
back,
call.
asking who they were and what had happened, but the person was acting as though
En
they couldn't hear
español se
him.
llama extorsión.
Finally,
So basically, what they do is like, this is sad because like, it's really fucking horrible. Because like in Mexico, sometimes what they do is like they literally like kidnap somebody that you know, or like a family member, and like literally they call like somebody in America or somebody that they know maybe has like money, like in Mexico, right? For example, and so they're like, this is how it usually begins. It's like, hola, or no. They're like, it's usually the person that needs help calling, right? It's like, ama, puedes mandar $1,000 or 1,000 pesos, or well, 1,000 pesos is like a little bit, like it's some exorbitant amount of money or something like that. And it's sad because like in the news, for example, Televisión and like Univision, sometimes they show this stuff and it's sad. Like straight the fuck up, like it's horrible. I don't like those people that do that are fucking evil, dude. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, and it's like, can you send me this amount of money? And then like, if the people that they're telling the person that you know to give them or to receive money or whatever, I don't know if I said that sentence right. But the point is, if those people start catching on that, oh shit, they're not gonna send the money, they start torturing the victim, and that sucks.
the call timed out and hung up. My uncle waited until my dad got there,
Sucks.
told him about the weird
And then if
call,
they don't get the
and asked
money,
him
they
to go
just
with him to the
disappear the
office.
person.
They cut across the park, and my uncle
So
opened
sad.
the back door. That's when he noticed.
That's why
the
my
door to the
dad
maintenance area in the
doesn't
basement
want to
was
go
open,
back to
and
his
the lights were on.
rancho because like at the moment
was
it's like full of
So he went
drug
down there to check.
lords trying to like
It turns
just
out
gain
that the
land
custodian for the
to
building
like
had gone to do
fucking
some work
grow
on the
their
heating
drugs,
system that morning. He needed to
like
check it out.
cocaine,
Instead of getting
weed,
a
or
ladder,
whatever.
He tried to climb
And
the
it's
steel
really
shelving in
sad.
the basement and ended up tipping it over and pulling it on top of him. He'd been squished so that he couldn't breathe fully anymore. My dad and uncle got the shelves off him and called for an ambulance.
And like what makes it even sadder is my dad jokes that he's gonna take an
It was only
AK-47
that they realized just how
and
odd
just
the
like
situation
fucking
was.
do something
Had they not
about
come
it.
along, the maintenance man probably wouldn't have
But
been
that's like a
found until
joke.
after
He
the
says
Thanksgiving
that
holiday.
jokingly, but then he gets sad.
Had
He
anyone
does like
else come
the
to check in the meantime, they would have used the front end
ha ha
entrances
ha, and then
not
like
seen
the
the door open in the
you
back.
know, like that type of expression that I
Plus,
just
my
did right
uncle
now.
was really the only person who worked there
Just
who
like
lived
that.
close enough to drop everything and go and
Yeah,
check.
sad.
And the rest was even weirder. As far as they can tell, nobody made the call. The security system for my uncle's office was separate from the rest of the buildings and didn't show that anyone had entered all day. On his own answering machine, there was a message, but it only played my uncle yelling questions, and not the sound of a man yelling for help on the other end. Additionally, you couldn't hear someone in the basement from the office. My uncle and dad apparently spent a huge amount of time trying to make an outgoing call with
But
the
I
answering
mentioned all that
message
because
would
like
replicate what happened, but the machine
I thought it'd
just
say
didn't
something
work
like
that
that, or rather it'd be something like a story like that.
For years,
But
we
yeah,
got
it's
Christmas
sad.
cards from the maintenance man, who credits my uncle and dad with saving his life. And we
Oh,
never got
fuck.
answers as to how the hell my uncle got that mystery call.
Yeah.
I grew up in a pretty good-sized town. High school grades always had between 800 and 1,000 students. The town was about
That is
45
huge,
minutes to
holy
an
fuck.
hour from the second biggest city in our state, which is known for 3 rivers and many bridges. I have 2 older brothers, which means obviously I'm the youngest of 3 boys. Our mother was the general manager at our grandpa's golf course, and our father was in the state police, a lieutenant at the
Oh
time
no, I
this all
didn't. You
happened.
shouldn't do that. Does this kill the
Pop
octopus
Dad
guy?
could be hard on us.
Oh,
but
that
all 3
doesn't.
of us learned to always be respectful,
No,
no matter what,
fishy, come
unless
back.
extreme situations called for us not be. I will say that due to a very dark history, I've never had a close relationship with my brothers or parents. Even with all that, I'll also admit
No.
that this made my dad and I slightly closer, if only for a short period of time. When I was 15, I went to the downtown area, getting food and ice
What
cream
is he
with my
doing to the
friends at a place
fish?
about
I'm
a half
serious.
mile from the high
I'm not
school
gonna.
football
I'm
stadium.
not gonna make that joke.
Seeing as we were only 15, going into our 10th grade year of high school,
Oh my gosh,
we all
this is
rode
the
our
second
bikes
one.
to meet up. When we came back outside, I realized that my bike was missing.
Mhm.
After my friends and I checked the immediate area, I called my dad, knowing that he was home from work. He drove down to where I was. We all figured that he'd be pissed at us, which actually he wasn't. All of my friends got on their bikes and headed off in different directions, all of them looking for my bike. As my dad and I were driving back to the part of town,
I'd imagine because it's a
we
bigger
saw two
school, maybe
males
like somebody robbed their
walking
bikes.
down a side street. The group was pushing my bike as they walked, causing me to snap to attention
Oh my
and say
God.
aloud, "They have my bike!" My dad stopped immediately and put the car into park. We jumped out, and I laughed inside due to seeing my dad go from regular guy to cop dad. Well, he had the girl and one guy stand up against the wall with their faces touching it, and he slammed the
Shit,
guy with the
what the
bike to
fuck
the
is
ground.
that?
I grabbed the bike and put it in the bed of our truck. Since there were only 2 of us against 3 of them, my dad told me, "Get in the truck so they don't see your face." I said, "Screw that." It wasn't until years later that I came to regret that. The cops came and arrested all 3 of them. Fast forward 2.5 years. I was 18 and home from my freshman year of military college across the state. I was out jogging around 6 p.m. one night.
Wait, what
on
the fuck is
sidewalk next to the
happening?
road
What?
When a car flew past me and sat at a stop sign until I passed. Luckily, I was close to my home and memorized the car's details as much as I could. The vehicle started moving again, this time a lot slower, and I walked into my house just as they were passing by. I figured that they'd just see me jogging and slowed down as a result. Nothing unusual. Fast forward 1 week. I just finished up another jog. I walked into the house through the front door, which leads right into the kitchen. A kitchen that had a big window overlooking the driveway, front yard,
No
street,
clue what
and
that
stop
is.
sign. As soon as I
Ooh.
walked to the sink by the window to splash some cold water on my face, I heard a loud bang from outside. Sounded like an M80 exploding. Then 1 second of silence, followed by 3 loud booms in quick succession, which, thanks to being a hunter, I knew was gunfire. I dropped down, crawled to the door, grabbed the baseball bat my brothers and I
Oh
sometimes
no.
used, and ran
Oh.
outside. I knew a bat had 0% chance of winning against a firearm, but I was hoping I'd surprise him. When I got outside, they were driving away, and I recognized the vehicle from a week earlier. It was the same one that had sat at the stop sign when I was jogging. Thankfully, no one was at home at the time, or who knows where they would have been standing when this happened. On screen are photos of my childhood home, showing where some of the bullets hit.
That's
After the
scary.
police came
That's a
and I'd given my
scary
statement,
story right
we
there.
waited. Like I said, the town was big, but it was also small enough that a lot of people knew each other. The town's police and my brothers all joked with me, asking me things like, "Did you try and be a hero when no one else was around?" Or would ask if I was crazy due to running outside towards gunfire while only holding a bat.
What the fuck? Yeah, right? Like,
2
what
or
are you
3
gonna do?
days passed
Swing
before
the
we received
bullets
a call
away?
from the cops, saying that they'd caught
Hit
the
the
guy who
bullet.
shot at my house. As it turns out,
Dude, oh my
it's the
god, I
same
finally
guy
found
who
out
stole
why
my
Diddy
bike
Kong was
2.5
walking
years
slow.
earlier.
I've been playing the whole time with the
After finding
control
that
stick.
out, my dad and I looked at each other without saying anything. He'd seen me finish up my jog and walk into the house by pure chance. The guy received 10 years for attempted murder with a weapon, but didn't even serve the whole sentence. So we went on with our lives. I became an EMT during college, working on weekends, then finished school. When I was 26 years old, I stopped by my parents' house one day when I was in the area. I walked into the kitchen, and on the kitchen table was the town's newspaper. The front page read something along the lines of, "Local woman missing.
Oh my
Vehicle found
god.
abandoned and burned." I started reading the article, and almost immediately ripped the table off its frame with rage. The article said that the missing woman's boyfriend was the same guy who had stolen my bike and shot at my parents' house.
Jesus.
He wasn't arrested or charged with any crime related to the missing woman. I left and went back to my apartment about an hour away. Even through all my rage, I was still paranoid that the guy was following me somehow. My parents left their house for a week to stay at my grandpa's house. Life went on from
Shit.
there. The guy who shot at my house is currently in prison on other charges not related to the slaying of his girlfriend.
That is sad. What the fuck? Ooh, gotta hate it when that happens in platforming games. Anyhow, I'm gonna change
Hey
the
guys,
category.
Lazy here.
That was my really bad DK country gameplay. Oh my gosh. So I changed the title back to actually going until 3 a.m. for the scary stream. Yeah. It comes out June, right? 3 Hopes. So yeah. Dude, I am going to fucking be happy once my hair starts to grow back. I usually have it long. No, not only that, because like the thing is, like with me, I get dandruff, so it's like easy to like see my dandruff and it just gets. So I wash it afterwards, and it just comes back like that. Like literally after it dries, it just makes more. Yeah. Let's start. Oof, oof. And we're back to the videos. So this is, are you scared of cinema? So I don't know why I picked this one out earlier, but I picked it out.
This video contains content.
Oh shit. Yeah.
That some might find disturbing.
So this is the palate
Viewer
cleanser I was
discretion
talking
is
about
advised.
earlier.
Who doesn't?
And then we're on to creepypastas for the night.
If you're a homeowner, it's the perfect place to sit back and escape reality. Watching a film on the big screen can be an immersive experience. But what if it's so immersive, it can actually harm you? Tonight, our narrator finds himself in the front row of...
Wait. Why does this guy sound like the guy from like BuzzFeed Unsolved? What was his name? I don't even know.
of his very own nightmare. I'm Ryan Bergara, and this is Are You Scared?
Oh shit, yeah, it is him. Yeah, it is him. What the fuck?
A show where I tell
He
my
just
friends
grew hair.
the internet's scariest stories.
Oh,
so lock
okay.
your doors, turn off the lights.
Yeah, cool.
And let's see if we can make it till the end of the night. Movie night.
We love a movie night, don't we, folks? The whole experience. Film, popcorn.
Wow, this is definitely a palate cleanser.
But, you know, to each their own. Is that why you dressed in blue?
Yeah, team
Whoa.
Peps. I wear blue because I love Pepsi. I
What
drink
the fuck?
Pepsi all the time. Tell me a scary story.
All right. When something happens you can't explain, something no one would believe or understand, there's nothing you can do except force yourself to forget. I try not to think about it, but sometimes I still do. My wife Alyssa loves watching movies, and so do I. It was part of the
Cool.
reason we connected. A lot of our dates happened at the movies. Eventually, our daughter Rachel, who's now 12, grew to love them too. It became a tradition in our family that at least every 2 weeks we'd go out and see a movie together. There was a small local theater just a bit away that gave family discounts.
Man, oh fuck, I was about to
Tickets
fucking
were
fall asleep
half
there.
off for
Holy shit.
anyone under the age of 13.
It's
So,
probably gonna see my
it
stream,
wasn't
dude.
an
Oh my god.
expensive outing.
Did I
It was
change the
last
category?
April
No, I
I
didn't,
stopped
right?
loving the movie theater experience. I haven't been back to one since. What could cause you to never go back to the movies?
Worms in your popcorn?
I'd still go. I'd just be like, huh, bad batch.
Well, no, I'm saying, like, what if it's a bucket of popcorn? It's all worms.
Still just bad batch.
You take it to the counter and be like, bad
Yeah, so
batch
it's
here.
scribe.
Hey, can I get a
Scribbing.
hot one?
Yeah.
Top me off. It would take the movie coming out of the screen and attacking me. Like if Michael
Well, at
Myers
that point,
jumped
I'm
out of the
going
screen.
every week.
Well,
Who knows what's gonna
it
happen?
depends what kind of movie you're in.
Demi Moore steps off the screen?
Okay, keep it in your pants, weirdo.
What, are you going to smooch me? You know?
It was later in the evening on our designated theater trip day. and we ordered dinner from a place nearby since neither myself or my wife felt like cooking. We only had about an hour before we wanted to leave, so we ate quickly. It was about 10 minutes before we had to leave that Rachel started feeling sick. I suggested we cancel the plan and save it for another night, but Alyssa insisted I go to the theater still and enjoy an outing. I had been working a lot, and she knew I was really looking forward to going to the movies. After contemplating for a few moments, I decided that I would go alone while Alyssa stayed back to look after Rachel. I felt bad leaving, but when my wife texted me, "Have fun, love you," I figured I might as well try to have a nice night instead of feeling guilty. This is a future PSA for any children of mine. If you get sick and I'm supposed to go to the movies, if I have tickets for Batman, God forbid, and you get sick, the train stops for nobody.
Oh, what the fuck is that on his laptop?
Into the theater, I noticed it was unusually empty. The place wasn't always busy, sure, but this was the first time I'd been the only one in the lobby. Well, the ticket guy was there too, but he had to be. "On your own tonight?" the ticket guy asked. I recognized the boy. His name was Justin. He was usually the one who sold my family tickets. He was a high school kid who obviously didn't care for his job, but he was always polite to us. My family visited the theater so often we had a small rapport built. "Yeah, just me," I replied. I looked around the room again and realized how correct that statement was. "Slow night?" I asked. "Yeah, you're the first person I've seen since I clocked in, probably because there's only one movie playing," Justin explained. I was bummed at the lack of choices, but curious as well. "What movie?" Justin shrugged. "No idea. It doesn't have a title. No poster either." That's weird. That's weird, man.
That's like the first sign I need to get the fuck out of there.
No, come on, get out of here. I don't know.
Yeah,
I work at the
like, what's
movie
up with
theater. What
fucking...
movie's playing? I don't know.
Can you
Yeah,
just look at
that's
the
like
name
not
on the
even an
ticket?
answer.
Does it say no title on the ticket, Justin?
No title, no poster.
What if he's not human? He's like a robot or part of this.
Oh my
little
god.
I thought you were gonna say alien.
Born alien.
No title.
Well, I'd be like, why are you talking like that?
I am human. You know.
Can I get a refund?
I can do that type of voice. Like,
I am human. You may hear me. I will affirm that nothing happens.
just kidding. No, imagine it's just like speaking. It's just like,
Hello. The movie that played today is a movie without any title or poster. I thought you were the only one here. Come in and do what you're at the movie theater and watch the movie. Thank you. Goodbye.
just like imagine speaking like that. Like, fuck.
I know, right? If you want to come back another time, we'll probably have more options then, Justin suggested, likely sensing my disappointment. I sighed, debating briefly in my head whether I should call it a night or not. It seemed like everything was working against me. You know what? I'm already here. Might as well go see it, I decided. "You sure?" Justin asked, and I nodded. "All right, that'll be $8 then, Mr. Matthews." I pulled
Yeah,
out
I've
my
been
wallet
like for
and
like
handed
5
over the money
hours.
in
Holy
exchange for the
shit.
ticket
That's
Justin
already a
passed me.
lot.
"It'll be in Theater 6 to the left. I remember," I joked, smiling. "Have a nice night, Justin." I wanted to go to a movie theater and make it my Cheers. They know me well enough that they call me Mr. Bergara when I walk in.
Yeah. After we shutter Watcher Entertainment,
Nice.
we'll start our own movie theater.
I think you and I should open up our own movie theater.
Emphasis on good popcorn, a lot of rules.
No cell phones. And I've said this before, the best thing about a cell phone in a dark room is it lights up their stupid face, and that's when we have our robot that slings like ding-dongs.
Okay.
And slides.
Slings a ding dong.
You know.
What's a ding dong?
A ding-dong, you know, like a small little sausage? You know, like a little cocktail weenie?
What do you mean slings a
Okay.
ding dong?
It slings it at high speed, right into their stupid face. And it's just trained to look at like bright
Just
spots.
say, you know, like a tiny sausage.
Everyone knows
Those are
what
called ding dong.
everyone knows what a ding-dong is.
Okay.
My brain worked on autopilot as my feet carried me towards my destination. It was eerily quiet, and just as Justin had said, there weren't any other movies playing. Usually, the little panels that hung above the doors displayed titles, but there weren't any tonight. When I got to Theater 6, I noticed the lack of a title on the sign, but the illuminated number 6 on the wall told me that something was playing. I heaved open the door, and slipped into the dark room just before the door slammed back shut.
Okay.
I walked down the path that led to all the seats, and when I turned to scan the room, I saw it was entirely empty. Something about the empty theater made me uneasy, like I was trespassing.
I feel like he's gonna say like the guy that was there
clocked
in
that I could sit wherever
was
I
like
wanted.
a ghost or
Some people
something.
have hang-ups about that, though. There's a lot of people who are like, it's so weird.
Yeah,
to
that's
see a
usually
movie
how the
alone,"
twist
and I
goes. There was
get
nobody in
that,
the theater.
but
I
at
don't
the
even know
same
how he
time, I
got
think
inside.
It's an acquired taste.
I usually just call those people losers.
You, the person
What?
going to see movies
I'm a
alone.
loser? I'm
Well,
kidding.
the thing is, they think that it makes.
Wait, I don't know what he was talking about. I just heard loser and I'm like, I'm a loser?
Which is why they're losers.
No, if they're seeing a movie alone.
Oh, that's a winner. That's what a winner does.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm trying.
I do it all the time.
Dude, I'm a loser for watching this shit at like, what, 1 a.m.?
Are you questioning that?
No, I think we all agree Ryan Bergara is a winner.
I'm gonna need to see everybody in this room raise their hand that I'm a winner.
Please raise your hands. Otherwise, we're not moving on. We all think you're a winner who gets a lot of good ghost evidence.
Raise your fucking hand.
Please raise your hand.
Okay.
Raise it! I chose a seat in the middle of the theater.
Okay.
A good enough distance from the screen that I could see the full thing, but not so far back that I was near the loudspeakers. If I had popcorn, it would have been perfect. But when I passed by the concession stand after getting my ticket, there was no one there.
Yeah.
Where's your desired seat?
It's dead center, but it's a little bit up past a third of the way. Because up in the pit, you're looking up like this.
You don't want
in that little second, third part, you're like a perfect viewing angle. And in the last third is for all the burnouts and people who want to make out.
Getting their sick little pleasures up there.
Yeah, I know. Cutting their holes in the popcorn.
A thing that people definitely do.
We've all done it.
What?
I don't know what he's talking about.
What are you talking?
No clue.
Boo. Didn't expect to see me here, did you? I can tell you a horror story in just 2 words. Food waste. I can't tell you how many times I've bought celery or spinach only to let them die
Espinaca?
in the back of my fridge. It might not
Oh my
sound scary
God.
at first, but those scraps
Let's
add up.
fucking
We're talking
skip this guy. Oh my god. He does 2 sponsors.
America alone.
Focused on the large screen, which had been playing a Pepsi commercial when I walked in.
Pepsi!
Oh no, we can't
Bring the Pepsi alarm!
It changed to a trailer after a few seconds, and I relaxed into my seat. I hadn't missed any of the movie, but I wish I had. The trailer was dull. It was some coming-of-age teen girl movie that I hoped Rachel wouldn't want to see in the future. I watched the preview scenes, just wanting to hurry up and get to the movie. The girl was trying on dresses, arguing with her mom, standing up to her bully. Typical cliche things.
This guy sounds rude.
Yeah.
Your daughter's gonna want to see movies about girls.
He doesn't like coming-of-age movies unless they're
Bitch
about
daughter's gonna want to see this one.
Oh, she's gonna want to see herself represented on screen? What a fucking needy little girl. The next scene had nothing to do with the trailer. It flashed by so quickly I almost missed it. On the screen for just a moment, a photo of a hooded figure from the shoulder up appeared. Just as quickly as I noticed it, it was gone. That was weird, I thought to myself, but I assumed it was a glitch. It wasn't. The clips for the teen movie sped up suddenly. The sound cut out, and scenes flew by. High school dance, a bloody knife, friends hugging, the hooded
Jesus.
figure, cheer tryouts, abandoned house. Soon the scenes from the movie faded, and it became a display of unconnected, disturbing images. A dead rabbit strung up, a demonic mask, the knife again, a graveyard, the hooded figure again, a creepy clown, pictures of a family with the eyes scratched out, the hooded
Okay.
figure once more. I had no idea what was happening. My heart was suddenly racing and I got goosebumps. I felt frozen in my seat, stuck watching
That would be
creepy
one of
image
horrifying
after creepy
fucking
image
experience,
display
I'll tell you
itself
that.
on the screen. I couldn't look away, couldn't close my eyes, couldn't move. I just watched.
Sounds like the Bergara home videos.
I know. I was about to say, someone got a hold of Steve Bergara's handy cam.
Your family's sick.
Yeah, they are. Then the screen stopped on the hooded figure. The person was dressed entirely in black, face covered too. I couldn't see their eyes behind the cover, but I felt as if they were staring into my soul. They were unmoving. I knew it was a screen, but still my heart clenched and my stomach sank. I had never felt so uneasy by a picture in my entire life. Suddenly,
The guy looks.
the screen cut
I
black.
can't see.
There was still a
Well, I can
haze of
see from
light,
far
meaning
a
the
little bit,
projector
right?
Wasn't actually
Not like
off.
I'm like.
It was just
Like
a
I see
black
like
screen.
blurriness.
I
But
tried
the
to
image
breathe,
looked
but my
blurred, and it
throat
looked
felt
like the guy was like.
constricted. Out of nowhere,
Was like there like a.
horrible screams emitted from
Like
the
that.
speakers. It was high-pitched and blood-curdled.
Ew.
I snapped out of my terrified stillness to slap my hands over my ears. It was so loud, so terrible. I couldn't imagine what was so awful that a person could shriek like that, and I didn't want to know. I just wanted it to stop. Stop. Stop! I yelled out, not even realizing I had done it until the room fell silent seconds after my words. I'd probably walk out if this happened to me.
Yeah.
I'd probably walk out too.
I'd
Maybe
fucking
the
run out of
implication
there
is that he's
with
sort
my
of
ears like
transfixed,
this. I
you know,
swear.
it's like hypnotic, almost like a.
I see.
You know,
Like The Ring.
Like The Ring. They love to watch that little lady walk out of the screen. You know, they could leave at any time or just, boop, you know, hit the
turn it
remote,
off, yeah.
turn on the fucking remote,
Or just leave,
Oh,
yeah.
I want
Just leave.
to.
leave. I like the idea of all this going on, but him also being like,
Ow. Ooh. My jaw.
But
Ever so often when I yawn, it almost feels like a knot, kind of like
he gets
not
little
like
escape
tighter,
arms.
but just turns or a muscle just like gets super stiff or gets pulled or something right here.
Unknowingly curled into myself.
And by the way,
as if
this is
to
my
physically
right
shield
hand.
myself from
Then my
the
left
noise.
hand.
I slowly uncovered my ears and
Same.
straightened up. I took a shaking breath as I
Oh
looked
yeah,
at the
it's
screen.
like right here on my left
It was
side.
black again. Wait, no, it wasn't. On the screen was a dark room. There was barely any light, but I could make out rows of seats facing the same direction. When I looked closer, my heart stopped. I saw myself on the screen, seated in my chair in the theater. I stared at the mirror image, my mind racing as to how this was even possible. There had to be a hidden camera. This had to be a prank. Any moment someone would jump out and tell me they got me good. Maybe it was Justin. He was a high schooler after
Yeah.
all. They were cruel.
He was
for no
behind
reason,
all these.
even though that didn't sound like him. That had to be the explanation. I forced myself to speak. I announced, "Okay, you got me," hoping that if I admitted defeat, then whoever was doing this would stop. But nothing happened when I spoke up. You got me. Hello? I called out. I said, "You got me." I tried to hide the quake in my voice. I waved my hand in the air, trying to signal someone. As I waved, I looked at the screen and froze yet again. The me on the screen was unmoving. My hand lowered slowly as it dawned on me that this wasn't live. How is that possible?
Let me know if you agree here. If you could go see a movie you love,
okay,
but they could deep fake you onto one of the characters, like if you wanted to go see Titanic, but
That
it was
would
like,
be a little scary and intimidating. I won't lie if
let
I
me
got
see
deep
what
baked.
I look like up there.
I wouldn't want to see that.
I feel like what the
Okay,
fuck.
what about this? What if we could put you in your
And
little
probably
Grinch
ban
film that
whoever
you
the
love so
fuck
much?
did
The Jim
that
Carrey Grinch,
from
but you're the Grinch
anything
now.
having
What
to do
about
with
then?
me.
I still don't think I'd want to see that.
It'd
I
be
like Jim Carrey
accounts,
as the Grinch.
IRL events.
$65 to see me in
It's like,
Titanic up there
yikes.
with Leo.
You're a weird guy.
Or Avatar.
Okay, well,
Blue, make me blue.
me as an avatar is pretty
Yeah, what if we could both go and be the blues?
Okay, you got me in the
We'll
end.
both be blue.
Yeah, we'll both be blue. That's good. The screen cut to black once more for a split second. And then, it was back on. I jumped out of my seat at what I saw. Everything was the same as before, except there was now a hooded person, the same hooded person, standing behind me on the screen. I whipped my head back and found that I was still alone in the room. Yet, I was too scared to experience relief. I looked back to the screen and spotted a smile creep its way onto my face. It was unlike any expression I had ever seen on myself, or anyone else for that matter. My own face, my real face, remained unmoving as I watched the scene unfold in front of me. There really is nothing creepier than a very...
This is gonna be like a
inappropriate
poetic story.
Like a smile that's coming at a moment when you shouldn't be smiling.
Yeah, like at a funeral.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That would be spooky.
Though I did
Fuck.
smile at that
I'm
Watcher.
probably
film.
gonna like
What was his
sleep
name?
now well today.
I forgot his name. He's fucking blue.
If you're thinking
It's
of
on
a
the tip
little
of my
tiny
tongue. It's on
fuzzy
the tip of
blue
my
man.
tongue.
The professor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Smiling the whole time. Because clearly didn't learn your lesson.
No, I think I learned it.
I guess he did. I guess he's pretty content with his actions.
He'll never learn again.
I guess not.
I was standing now, but my feet felt so heavy. I was weighed down by curiosity and fear as I watched the hooded figure withdraw a large knife from behind its back. It was the same knife from the photos that had been displayed rapidly on the screen moments ago. In a rapid motion, the hooded figure slashed the blade through the neck of my on-screen doppelganger. I gasped audibly, my hand unconsciously reaching for my neck. My fingers brushed against my intact skin as I watched in a trance. The smile never left my face. Even as blood began to pour from the wound, it gave me chills.
I mean, at that point, you got to figure, okay, nothing's going to happen to me. You know, if you check your neck and you're fine, then I'll be like, all right, chill. This seems like just something for me to enjoy then. So let me kick back and see how this goes.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Blood and you just go, oh, neato.
I'd be fucking freaked out.
I'm getting out of there, man. Fuck
If
that.
I was dumb enough to stand there, I'd be mortified.
As far as I'm concerned,
I'd be
that's
like,
strike two. Strike
I need to
one was
call
no
the cops.
popcorn. Strike two is killing me on screen.
Like, obviously, at that point, I'm in a trance, so I wouldn't be able to do so.
Only for a picture to rerun moments later. It was the hooded figure. It was so close to the camera that the entire background was out of view. The screaming started again. I took action this time. I pulled myself from my state of shock to dash to the exit. My entire body was shaking, and my heart was pounding inside of my chest, slamming against my ribcage so hard I thought it was
that
going
sound
to break
effect you're
free.
using.
I ran from the theater to the lobby. Justin was still at his post, and he tried to say something to me, but my feet carried me so quickly I was already out the door before he could finish. I ran all the way to my car and sped home. I locked all the doors behind me once I got inside, and only then, in the safety of my home, I could finally let myself breathe. They just went right to theater to home, so he's like freaking out the entire drive, just getting in the car, just you're checking the mirrors.
Right. Yep, that's what people do when they drive. Yep.
Putting it in reverse.
Yep, putting it in reverse, then putting it back into
Oh my
drive
God.
when they're done reversing.
Stopping at AM/PM, filling up gas.
Yep.
Back in the car.
Yep. Seatbelt. Mirror.
Okay.
Mirrors again. Still freaked out.
That was a fucked up movie. I still couldn't wrap my head around what had happened, even as I caught my breath.
That's a
There was
nasty
no way
drawing.
that was a prank. It couldn't be. No one could orchestrate something like that. Not Justin or anyone.
Not that brilliant boy, Justin.
Not that beautiful boy, Justin.
Okay.
With his big brain and strong biceps.
It was impossible. Honey, what's wrong? The sound of Alyssa's concerned voice jolted me out of my own mind. I looked at her with wide eyes, unable to speak. You're home early. Did something happen? She pressed further, but I didn't answer. How could I explain that?
Oh my God, he's been dead all along. Oh my
Anyone
gosh.
would. I'd think I was if I hadn't witnessed it myself. I didn't
He
like
can't
the
talk
movie.
because he's done. Oh wait, never mind.
Movie was
Okay, I
me.
thought I was gonna go a different direction. Oh my
Movie
gosh.
was me.
Oh, she said softly. Okay, well, Rachel's in bed. She ate her food too fast, and I think it upset her stomach. Alyssa explained, but her voice became drowned out in the background. All I could hear was that shrill screaming. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw that hooded figure slashing a knife across my neck. I felt a chill shoot up my spine, and the hair on my arm stand up at the memory. I zoned back into reality when I heard my wife suggest, I was thinking we could go to the movies tomorrow. I cut her off, my voice louder and shakier than I had intended. She looked at me weird, and I swallowed before softly saying, I don't want to go to the movies. So, are you scared? Wait. We don't get to know who the hooded figure was? Did he see this? Was it Justin?
I mean, who can say it's clearly a paranormal experience, something supernatural going on there? You know?
Or he's back home and Justin and all his pals are back at the theater going,
We got him good.
Did you see how he ran out of the theater?
His
With
wife
the
thinks
deep
he's
fake
weird
of
now.
him? That's a little weird.
She's totally gonna ask him for a divorce.
Oh my God,
That
what the
sounds
fuck?
like one bad trip to the movies.
I'm gonna need an ending to that. I need a sequel, or maybe in
Jesus.
the comments you write the ending and we'll pin the best one.
I mean, I think the sort of assumed
Oh, we
ending
gotta
is
open
this
Visual
man
Studios
will
up
start
again.
pissing the bed.
What if you could never consume content ever again?
I keep on using it because like it's Visual Studios and OBS on the right, right?
Yeah.
Watch her content.
That'd be devastating.
Oh my god, and I keep on clicking in Visual
And
Studios.
then it would get really annoying.
It's
like,
because
every
with this
time you turn
computer,
on the TV, it's just
I end up using the trackpad, and like today I'm using
Or
a
what if even
wireless
read
mouse
books, it was
finally, right?
Oh, A Tale of Two Cities.
Because I've had this mouse for like
Fun.
over a year,
It's
but I
like,
haven't used it.
A tall, goofy
Well, not over a
man
year, over half a
sitting
year.
there reading a book. I'd be like, this is about me.
It's like, damn it.
He's yelling and holding the book and shaking it. Well, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing, he yelled. He flipped through the pages.
Thank you to Genevieve Trent for sending us this very gripping story. It's very impressive. You destroyed what I loved most.
I'm way too sleepy to fucking
Well, I guess
listen
we
to the next
will
one.
not see you at the movies. See you next time.
Unless you see yourself at the movies.
So how about this? Ow! Ooh, that hurt. It's just like I don't know what to call it. Like corn? I think that's what it's called. Like a corn right here. It's just like it's just a piece of skin that's just like
gonna do to
strung
Cinema
off,
what
right?
Psycho
It
did to
hurts.
the shower.
This is gonna.
So I guess what I'm trying to say is like I am probably stopping it here. Oh my god, it's so close. It's 1:20. Like I'm so sleepy. What is on here? Accessing. Sure. A message from what? Yeah. And then this one obviously is like whatever fucking time we have left over. Like here's the thing. Like legitimately we won't even have time for like this one. Because what's gonna happen is like, oh I remember that creepypasta that I read, right? And then it's gonna be like 20 minutes lost. So what I'm trying to say is like I wanna end it here. And also partly because like I wanna go to sleep like well. Cause some of these creepypastas are just so fucked up, dude. So I'll continue this. I guess I wasn't clickbaiting because I really did want to go to 3 a.m. But at this point, I just want to fall asleep. I'm like falling asleep hardcore. What? Hardcore? What? What are you even saying? I don't know. So we'll continue this tomorrow. I guess this will be like an extravaganza. I don't know what the fuck I'll call it. If I ever edit this. So yeah, you guys will see me tomorrow with a new fucking shirt. And I'll stream whatever game I have that I want to stream tomorrow. It's like, I'm like, I'll do Mario Galaxy 2 if I have to. I don't give a fuck at this point. Oh, that game's so long. You wanna know how many fucking green stars there are there? Like 400. No. 120, 240. Is it 4? Is it control? I think there are 480 stars. Are there? It's been a while. It's been a while since I played that game. It was either 480 stars or 140. But yeah, maybe I'll play Mario Galaxy. I don't know. The fuck to play anymore. Stars. That game is way too long though. Anyhow. So I'll leave it off at here. I'll see you all later. So good night, good day, whatever it is. And we'll continue this last video. And then maybe like 30 minutes of the UFO video tomorrow. And yeah, that'll be it. So yeah, good night everybody. And I'll see you later. And then then obviously I won't touch scary stuff and react to scary stuff for like not a year, but like a month until like next month. And even then it'll be like way shorter with stream. Probably like 5 hours max. Not at 5 hours max, not like 6 hours max. Because I don't usually stream for 6 hours. I usually stream between like 4 to 2 hours. But yeah. Yeah, thank you so much again for coming by. Yeah. Alright, so yeah. Good night, everybody. And I'll see you tomorrow with Mario Galaxy if I want to. I don't know. Or some other game. And then we'll go back into this, right? So yeah, bye.